Hello, listening people.
Hello.
You're listening to Spit and Polish Presents Unappreciated Masterpieces. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan Slawinski.
And I'm Bartek.
Bartek, how are you?
Good.
You sound terrible.
In my head I was like, good, but I'm a bit unwell, but then I'm like, I don't need to tell them that, but then it just came out like halfway. Good, but...
You know what that was? That was the physical embodiment of good asterisks next to it, and then you go down to the bottom of the podcast info, and there's a little citation saying, Bartek's in fact sick.
Can you put that in the description?
Oh, definitely. So Bartek's sick, and I'm rad. And we are Spit and Polish, likingly because we're always spitting. Bartek maybe a little more than usual, and we are both Polish. Myself maybe a little bit more than usual.
Take a drink every time I cough.
No.
And vomit out a drink every time I snort.
Ugh. So Bartek, on our show...
You didn't say no to that one.
I didn't want to disagree with you all the time, buddy.
It's
a 50-50. I'm going to disagree half the time, and then I'm just going to leave and no response the other half.
If I do another asterisk, do I have to do that thing twice? To be like two?
Nah.
Alright.
And then ask me something else, and I'll just give you no reply.
Oh, okay, so it's going to be like an every now and then thing.
Right, so we are doing our show in which we talk about movies in an audio commentary fashion. We are talking about the movies that a lot of people don't show enough love to. They are either despised or just apathy is given to them, or even they're just kind of forgotten. They go, what? I haven't heard about that movie. And then you like wave information at them and they're like, yeah, something's coming back about this, you know? And we say that something's art. And art needs to be appreciated in all forms and facets. And we say that these movies are the purest forms.
Even when art has a B at the front and an EK at the end.
Exactly. Good job. He spelled it out.
2 asterisks and the text at the bottom is, that's my name.
Yeah, and in brackets, good job. So, we are going to be talking about an unappreciated masterpiece, a movie that we feel needs to have more discussion in a more positive light. Whatever film we'll be covering, we both feel that...
Sounds like you're describing an unappreciated masterpiece.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So, Bartek... What will be the unappreciated masterpiece we'll be covering in this particular episode of the show? I can't read the title. I'm in the episode. You know, I'm not Deadpool. I'm not fourth wall breaking.
But you are a green line getting bigger.
Yep.
If you're listening on Podbean. If you're not, then whoops.
Whoops.
If you're on YouTube, you're more like a red line with a dot.
And if you're on iTunes, you're just like...
A black line, right?
A little black line moving along, yeah.
Kind of looks a bit like a snake from the old game Snake.
Okay.
From the mobile phones.
Yeah. My favourite mobile phone game on the old mobile phone was that one where you're a little red beach ball and you have to like roll around in different like mazes and locations and you have to bounce and avoid things. I think that game was called Ball. So, Bartek...
That's about as creative as Snake.
Are we covering the video game Ball and Snake?
Well, we'd be covering the movie adaptation if that were the case, but no,
maybe
Ryan.
we're a game podcast.
Well, Ryan, last February was video game month. This is no longer video game month.
Shit. Okay.
And as the rules state, we can't do any themed movies outside of the themed month.
Unless it's October.
No more duologies, except Johnny English, or video games or dog films.
Unless it's October, then we do Spooky Month.
Yes, but no spookies otherwise, unless it's on the mystery box.
Yeah. Oh, I want to do one. So what is it that we're doing for this episode, Bartek?
This episode we are doing Powieść Henry'ego.
So we're doing what, sorry?
Didn't you hear me?
Yeah, I laughed a little too hard.
That makes it hard to hear. Yeah.
It's hard to hear. I'm sorry.
Because there are ha-has happening.
Yeah. Hit me again.
Powieść Henry'ego.
So we're doing Impoverished Henrietta? Is that what we're doing?
I said Henry'ego.
Oh, sorry. Are we doing Impoverished Henry'ego?
I mean...
Are we doing Impoverished Henry'ego? That's my favourite movie. It's got the whole cast of Stranger Things in it. No, Impoverished Henry'ego.
I said...
Yeah.
I said powieść.
Oh,
that's the Polish word for novel.
Oh, I don't read.
Oh, that's true. Oh, you wouldn't know the title then because you don't read.
Yeah, so you have to tell me it.
But you know what films are because you watch films.
I watch it, yeah.
Yeah.
You have to. If you show me the film, I'll tell you what it is.
Yes. Powieść Henry'ego translates to Henry's novel, but the film is in fact not Henry's novel or even novel of Henry. It's the other thing you read, Ryan.
Comic book.
You get rid of there are comics in it, not the kind you're thinking.
Oh, okay.
But then if you get rid of that word, then what do you got left?
Comic strip.
No. From the title, if you get rid of the word comic, but then you leave the...
Oh.
You said comic book of Henry, but you get a comic.
Graphic novel of Henry.
Ryan, just stop the... Book of Henry.
Book of Henry!
That's the movie!
Woo! The one that came out last year? To glowing reviews?
Yes.
The great film Book of Henry that everyone saw in cinema.
It's a film.
It's a film, and we need a guest to talk about the film. Did we bring Henry? We need his perspective on his own book.
The guest was
I
mouthing
thought
no
we were
at me,
doing.
so-
I thought we were doing a film one, but we're doing a book. Apparently, is it a biblical book?
I mean, books can be masterpieces.
Unappreciated masterpieces book edition.
Well, there are
Henry
there are a lot of
starting.
books.
Yeah, man. I mean, the follow up to Catch 22 was unappreciated. Just saying.
Was it 23?
Yeah. Yeah. So
Good improvisation.
I said yes, not no.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Good.
And then I'm not going to reply to you for my second half.
Well, you can reply to Oliver Menhennet instead.
Hi,
Hey.
Jennifer.
Hello.
Hello. Oh, for podcast listeners who haven't listened to an Oliver episode before, he's also known as Peter.
Yeah.
And Jennifer. Okay, that's not your Peter voice, that was your Jennifer voice.
What's my Peter voice again? I actually
It's
forgot.
kind of like you, but annoying.
Well, I remember
So-
one of
So
them.
me.
Yeah.
I remember one
Don't
of them.
need to change it.
All right.
I think
cool.
one of them had like a stereotypical gay kind of voice.
That was his Jennifer voice. He thought that was a woman's voice. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
So Oliver, you're here. We're doing the Book of Henry.
I'm so excited for this.
You are pumped.
I'm great.
He's been sitting in that chair, wetting himself with joy.
I mean, just a bit.
So, guys, you have to get your copy of the Book of Henry. I got a copy of this on DVD for 2 for $20. I got it with the snowman,
And I was there.
and
Oh my
Bartek was
God.
there.
And there was a smelly guy in the aisle.
There was
too.
a guy who smelled like urine
Yeah.
next to these DVDs, and I thought, foreshadowing.
Ryan, did you say that you paid for the snowman?
Well, 2 for $20. So it was a real. And then she only charged me 15 anyway. I don't know what that was about, but I think it's because the guy tried to push in line, and she was like, "That's $5 worth of sorry." So I guess So get your copy of the film ready, because you have to have a copy, or you don't. But if you do, you can watch it along with us.
You'll be
as we,
richer if you have a copy.
or poorer,
Yeah,
depending
'cause
how
it-
you
yeah.
put your finances according to Henry. You
Yeah,
have to
and if
really
you-
be into that
I
stuff.
mean, if you paid for the movie, you'd be poor.
And if you smell of urine, stop it.
Yeah, but if you paid for the movie for 2 for $20 and you only had to pay 15, you're $5 richer than you would have been if you didn't do it. So there you go.
I mean,
That's maths, or as the Americans call it, math.
yeah.
They're not allowed to have plural. There's only one, math.
There's only one.
So get your copy ready, because we are going to be starting this. Oh no, I accidentally pressed it, but it's okay. We're going to be starting this in 3, 2, 1, play. So the film is brought to you by Universal. Universal, the creators of the Dark Universe film franchise. That's an unappreciated film franchise. So the Book of Henry is one of these unappreciated masterpieces that are very recent. How did we come across choosing this one? I think it's fairly cool, which was we had Oliver on for another podcast, and I bought the two on DVD, and Bartek was there. You were there with me in the store, and I was
Yes.
like, dude, if they've got the snowman here and the 2 for $20, you have to get another really great movie. So I was like, where's Book of Henry? I said, where's Book of Henry? And you asked me what the Book of Henry was, and I had to try not to tell you, but tell you, because it's one of those movies where if you tell someone the actual plot, it's a spoiler.
And to be specific, you hadn't seen it, but you know of it.
Oh, I knew
You
of
knew
it.
of it,
I
yeah.
kind of lamented I didn't see it in cinema, because that's my history. I didn't see this last year. I saw its critical panning and the fact that it cost the director the chance to direct the next Star Wars movie.
Imagine knowing that.
But
Imagine knowing.
but also it's the acting debut of Maddie Ziegler, who's the little girl in the Sia film clips that dances. So I thought how unappreciated her acting debut, and no one's given it a shot, you know? But I had to try and say to you, Bartek, without telling you the plot, but that to give you kind of something to be like,
You were basically-
why are you excited to watch this?
You were basically telling me who the main character was.
Yes.
And that was about all I remember you telling me.
Super genius with Rube Goldberg machines having to solve a crime.
And then something crazy happens or something
And
like that.
and then people, when I saw Oliver, we had a party and we were talking about it, and someone was like, I think it was our friend who was on a previous podcast, Will Brooks, was talking about it one time, being like, oh, in front of you, Bartek, being like, oh boy, it gets crazy in that second half. Like, oh, don't talk about it. We're not going to talk about it. So, Oliver, your history is me telling you about this, being like, you want to come on and do it?
Yeah, I have a long and sordid history with this movie of about 12 hours.
A little more. It's been a week since I told you.
No, I mean, like, I only saw it.
Well,
recently.
yeah, but like, if we want to be real technical, my history with this movie is an hour and 40 minutes and 51 seconds. I mean,
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah.
But Oliver's all about the technicalities. He's a scientist.
So I actually, you told me about this a couple of weeks ago, and I'm gonna be honest, I completely forgot about it.
Yeah.
And then so I believe you tried to tell me a synopsis of it, and it just went in one ear and out the other.
But you said you really wanted to watch it.
I did.
So I was like, you gotta come on the show.
I did, yeah.
And you were like, I don't know, what movie are we doing? Book of Henry. And you're like, what's that one again? And then I
Yeah.
told you the story exactly like I did last time. You're like, oh, why do you want me on for that one? I'm like, because you said you would want to watch it.
Honestly, I don't know what it is about the film. I think it's because it's so good that my brain is just like, all right, that was such a nice experience. I want to forget it so I can experience that joy again. That's my explanation. Really.
Exactly. That's exactly it. I think that's what happened. That or you have a brain tumor. So
I mean, either or.
So we open up with this iconic scene in which we have a little boy. I mean, this is the first scene. The rest of the things were images moving on the screen. But this is the first scene of the movie where Henry has a very reminiscent moment of the film Annie, in which he has to get up in front of the class and give a
That's
speech.
how it starts, yeah.
Give an improvised speech about something. Instead, he doesn't sing, and he's not a little black girl, but he is a good little white boy.
He's not?
He's not a little black girl.
And this isn't a musical.
I wasn't paying attention.
This isn't a musical, even though, to be honest, if the third act turned into a musical, it would be a logical progression for it.
Wouldn't have been surprised.
I mean,
at
there
all.
is if you consider rap music, then there is a rap sequence.
There is a rap sequence. There's also dancing. So
There's art.
this is art. So we had never seen this movie before, any of us, before having to do this for the show. I had an understanding of what to expect from the movie.
Did you know, like, specific things about it?
I knew 3 of the major beats of the movie, which was his super smart kid finds out that the next door neighbor is doing something bad to the little girl, and he dies. Spoiler.
Yeah, wow.
Okay.
And he dies. I didn't know about Naomi Watts' character's little journey that she goes on. I didn't fully recognize the fact that the death would come halfway through the movie. I didn't recognize that it would have nothing in connection to the actual crime element. I thought, it's going to be like he will die trying to solve this or fix this, but no.
It's about 40 minutes in, isn't it? Roughly, he gets.
It's when the second act starts, yeah.
So, you knew that he died, but did you think it would happen more like a 3/4 way point or something?
I thought it would be like the end of the movie kind of
Okay,
thing.
so you thought that he would be the main character.
Well, it's called The Book
overall.
of Henry, so yeah.
I thought it would happen earlier, honestly.
Okay, so yeah, I knew those major elements of it. I told you guys, whether you remembered or not, the kind of little just mini like synopsis of like boy sees crime next door. But what were you kind of feeling when you were when you started to go into this, and how did you feel when it went in certain directions? Because this is a very polarizing movie.
Honestly, all I remembered of your synopsis, which I think I've heard it twice, but all I really remembered, like, the main character is like an autistic kid or something like that.
Yeah. I never clearly said. I just said he was super smart.
I know
and
you
in
know-
and that's shorthand in movies for autistic.
Yeah,
usually.
I know you never said it,
I don't
but
think he's actually ever pronounced or as
I don't think he
having
is.
autism?
I don't personally think he is autistic.
Yeah?
No, I think he's just a super genius. I don't think the film's trying to deposit the idea that he's autistic in any way. He's not like, or at least movie autistic. You know, he's not like A Beautiful Mind where he's got like, you know, these mannerisms that have to keep him chugging along, or he doesn't have like the Sheldon kind of thing going on. Well, Sheldon's on Big Bang Theory undiagnosed. They try to diagnose him, but he's not. But like, he's not like Sherlock in the Sherlock TV show where he has his like thingies, like these telltale signs that movie users use,
like ticks,
and all that kind of stuff. So I didn't personally see him as autistic. If anything, I saw the younger brother as possibly being autistic more than Henry. But like,
no way.
Yeah, more so for me. So for me. Yeah.
He's like a regular kid. Like, way more.
Did you think Peter was a regular kid?
I didn't think he would be autistic or anything like that.
But I didn't think anyone was. But if I had to say anyone, I thought it would be him more so than Henry, because I don't know. I felt like he had a little bit more emotional problems in comparison to Henry. But Henry's this is weird because Henry is an emotionally disturbed child, as the movie will explore, because he's a sociopath on a level. But. Yeah, I didn't think of anyone in this movie as autistic. Maybe the mum, if we want to go there.
I think the
but
mum
not
had a
even
case
her.
of Arrested Development, not so much.
No one's
autism.
autistic. I don't know. Hey, you know how there's website where it's like, did the dog die? Is this? Could we make a website that's like, is this character supposed to be autistic? Because I feel like it's a shorthand for a lot of screenwriters to be like, if they're autistic, that means they're smart.
See, the problem with that is that autism is such a spectrum, right? It literally is. And the fact that like each individual case of autism can be so different from any other case. So when you're kind of generalizing like that, it's kind of difficult to say whether or not, because some can be almost undetectable. There can be some very high functioning people.
So
with
you're
autism.
saying that Hollywood isn't a bunch of hacks and use autism as a crutch for characters?
They absolutely are. But that's beside the point.
But that was my point.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah,
the
no,
fact
that's
that
fair.
Hollywood are hacks.
I know that they could have interpreted the exchange he had with the teacher right after the speech as being like the difference between you and them is that you're really smart and gifted and they're not.
Yeah.
But I sort of saw that as a kind of, autistic vibe. Like, you wouldn't want to go to a gifted school, you'd want to... I'm stopping myself because I was almost going to use the word normal, but that's not really what I should be using. But basically...
Public school or something.
Yeah, stick to public school kind of thing.
Okay. So, just before I ask you guys a bit more about, like, what we were thinking, blah, blah, I got to bring up to the audience that, yes, this movie is, the central premise of this movie is about the young boy, Henry, super genius boy, observing next door that the young stepdaughter of the police commissioner of the state, I imagine. Is the police commissioner just in charge of just the area or the state?
I'm not sure what all the titles
City,
are.
County, maybe?
County,
Is this
city.
America? I don't know.
You're fine if you just generalize it to high-ranking.
High-ranking police.
Highly influential, for sure.
The top dog. At least one of the top dogs. So, and then the movie takes a very, very dramatic twist, which is they kill Henry halfway through the movie with a brain tumor, and then the mum has to carry out this elaborate murder scheme that Henry has left behind to murder him to save her, because there's no way to save her without murdering him because he is so influential and powerful, and Henry's thought of every contingency.
And it's also worth pointing out that, yes, the mum is the main character overall.
Overall, she's the main character.
So
I could hear you argue that there are two main characters. They kind of they're relay characters where one hands it off to the other.
Yeah.
We've had movies. There are movies like that. I think we've probably had a movie in the past on the show that's had that kind of effect, where it's like one character kind of passes it off to another character to be.
I
the
do
main.
like it when stories do that.
As do I.
I think the main character is the leaves in the first half of the movie.
Wow. You're completely missing Janice, and that's completely unacceptable. But yeah, the whole issue of the movie is murdering the next door neighbor, setting up the perfect crime, and killing them and subverting expectations by making you think it's going to be this Spielbergian kind of kids thing, while really it's more of a David Lynchian type of thing, not in terms of execution of style, but more in terms of thematic things. Like David Lynch in Blue Velvet has that. You think it's this wholesome suburbia, but underneath it's cockroaches and violence and all of this, and that's what this movie's kind of dealing with overall. So, yeah, but I thought when I started watching it, I knew these beats, but I thought it was going to be less crazy. I thought this was going to be a little bit more straightforward than it actually is in this movie. I thought this was going to be a bit more of a Spielbergian type of movie in which you had this kind of murdery thing and all of that, but I thought it was going to be a bit more, I don't know, straight-edged and nice. But this movie's wild and crazy.
Isn't that great, though?
It has Sarah Silverman in it, so I should have known it was going to be crazy.
Can't go wrong.
And one of the great subversions of expectations comes from an expectation we have of our understanding of what a film is. This film, as you've said, has a main conflict, and it involves, the stepfather abusing his stepdaughter.
Yeah.
And you'd think that most films would center around the main conflict. Whereas this one puts it aside for great lengths of time.
Yes, it's kind of like the abuse of the little next door neighbor girl is one of those inciting incidents of the movie that ripples in the background of the story, but not straight up in front, because it still wants to be, I want to say, directed at children and mums. But if you have it be like a full-on abuse / possible rape drama story, then it's going to turn into that Jodie Foster movie in which she got raped on a pinball machine. It's just going to be a heavy time for everyone, and they just they want to ride that line between Wes Anderson whimsy and David Lynchian nightmare, and I think they do a great job. So Oliver, you didn't remember a singular thing I told you about this movie, so when you did whack this on, what were you kind of expecting when you saw the opening credits and the music's whimsy? What did you think was going to come before you?
See, what I actually love about this movie, related to that question, is the fact that my understanding, my expectations, and my experience with the movie was evolving every few minutes.
Yeah.
My expectations were constantly changing. When I first heard the synopsis, again for the first time, I was
This time by the movie.
I know, right? I was kind of thinking more along the lines of, okay, it's one of those movies, I think, as you mentioned, like the Rain Man's, where it's focusing on, the person behind the disability and that sort of thing. One of those, inspiring stories, and it just happened to be centered around an attempted murder, which, I think we can all kind of
relate to,
yeah,
murder.
I mean, as much as you would like to, virtue signal, I think everyone has that person in their life where they're like, maybe if you just didn't exist, the world might be a better place.
Exactly. At the moment, we have a very important scene here. This will be set. This is a setup to something that you will see later in the movie. Very important that snow, or the replication of snow effect, is very important between the brothers. It will come in handy later in the movie. This movie is a real Chekhov's gun, with an actual gun in the movie. This is just setups and payoffs.
2 guns, I think, right?
Two.
A rifle and a handgun?
Dean Norris has a gun.
Rifle and a handgun. Yeah. Dean Norris, a man with 2 first names.
I mean, if you want to get like that, I know, right? There's a gun shop, so there's a lot of guns in there.
Yeah, but
I didn't think of that.
Yeah, he got you there. I mean, and then,
You're a regular Henry.
Oh.
And then we do see other policemen who I assume have guns. So, there you go.
Many of them don't. If they're not as... well, I mean,
if
I
they're
don't know
British.
how it works.
If they're British, yeah. But, they probably do. So, yeah, this movie takes some...
Gears of War.
And Gears of War. But this movie takes some wild, unexpected turns, and... This is one of the few unappreciated masterpieces on the show that I can understand fully, or at least I think I can, of why it is unappreciated. I think it's because it's taking a lot of polarizing chances for audience members. I can see a lot of audience members being turned off by this. I mean, before we started the podcast, and I think it's important to raise this, because I only did briefly, is we were debating whether or not the next door neighbor girl is being physically abused or is it sexual abuse as well. And the film leaves it, at least for you, Oliver, you said ambiguous. For me, it was clear, or at least I interpreted it as clear for it being sexual abuse. But for a lot of people, that is, and the way it does and doesn't address these issues, it doesn't show the bruises on the little girl, it doesn't actually show any of the harmful things happening to her. So you could even have moments in the film, I thought at the very start, I'm like, oh, is this actually happening, or is this Henry trying to find something to do? Because he did seem like that kind of kid who was like, I gotta find something to play around with my genius.
And there is a line where the mum tells him, like, can't you do something naughty or something like that?
Yeah.
Drinking, gambling.
Yeah,
pick
exactly.
up a bad habit.
Yeah, exactly. So the film plays around with a lot of heavy issues, but doesn't necessarily fully address them. This isn't My Sister's Keeper, where like it was about a kid dying the whole time, and blah blah. This isn't, this isn't the the sexual abuse movie. This isn't this. This isn't this. This is like the movie about what if an 11-year-old came up with the perfect murder. That's what the movie is to me. Like, the idea is what happened if this 11-year-old came up with what his idea is of a perfect murder. But at the end, the movie deposits, he is only 11. He thinks that the best way to solve a problem is what you would think as a kid, which is, like, there's only one option, and that's, like, kill this. Like, like, even as children, we have that thing where it's like, just kill them.
Side note, I did love that kind of that comedy scene where it's like, there's got to be another way, flip the page, why there's no other way. That was
Yeah, because when Henry dies, he leaves a book detailing everything, and
he leaves behind the titular object.
But also he leaves behind recordings of the book, the audio book of the book. So it could also be called the cassette of Henry.
Yeah, he leaves behind directed instructions to
Is
his
that on
mama.
like iTunes and like Spotify?
I would listen to the audiobook of Henry.
The audiobook of Henry. Is that the sequel?
Yeah. It's a prequel too.
Oh, okay.
It's about what happened to the dad.
Yeah, what did happen?
He murdered him. Clearly.
Did that? Oh, did we ever find out what happened?
No,
His name was probably Joseph.
His name was probably Joseph because their last name are Carpenter. The younger brother's Peter, and he's the first to tell of the book. It's very symbols are happening here.
Very symbols.
Very.
Well, what's the biblical moral of the Book of Henry, Ryan?
There is no Book of Henry, is there? Is there?
No,
we're watching it right now. What are you talking
improvising,
about?
But...
Oh, okay. So, the biblical references in this movie are pretty strong, though. They got Henry.
They got donuts.
You got the Christ posing for a scene when Henry's body's dead. They don't do the full crucifixion, but the holding of the body.
That's like a reference to some statue or like sculpture. That someone made.
And then you have kind of him resurrecting from the dead through the book and
modern technology.
Damn it, Janice.
This is the best scene in the movie, in which Henry has, for us, the audience, we interpret, and this is a bold move on Colin's part as a director. We, the audience, believe that things are happening in a chronological fashion. Henry's just witnessed this the night before. It's the next day. He's trying to talk to the little girl about it, but she's too traumatized. He notices that she's really traumatized in class, so he storms off. But when he storms off, he enters the principal's office, and it's a hard cut to realization that this has been going on he's known about this for 4 months.
Hey, Janice, more like Judas.
Yeah, he just walks in, he's like, God damn it, Janice, like he's a policeman throwing down his badge. And I was watching this with my fiance, who's a teacher, and she said, like, look, Janice is raising some very good points about why this didn't go any further, but the film also handles it in a way in which she's raising up enough bad points as well, because she's got a personal investment in it due to the fact that she knows the stepfather and values his personality and reputation,
which is incredibly relevant to real life. Yeah.
incredibly relevant to real life, because
Yeah.
that's what happens. So it shows that this character is not necessarily corrupt, but is corrupted by the world that we just live in every day. I mean, she knows the guy, like, but she's not evil. She is just blind to the fact. And that's very biblical. She gets awoken later on by dance. What a great shot that is. I find this movie very interesting that we have, at least from my recollection, I haven't looked up every single actor, but we have 2 Oscar-nominated actors in this movie, Naomi Watts and the younger brother, Daniel Tremblay.
Was he nominated?
He was in Room.
I know the mum in Room was nominated. Was he, though?
Oh, fuck, I thought he was.
I think it was...
I thought he was nominated for supporting.
He might have been. I just remember that the mum won for lead.
Wow. Well, he definitely went to the Oscars. I know that.
I know that, yeah,
because
he
I
definitely
think
was
Dev Patel helped. No, that was.
No, that was the kid from Lion.
There's too many kids.
I suddenly want to take a drink of wine for some reason.
Speaking of, yeah, one of the big things about our main actor, Jaden, what's his face, who plays Henry, most of the YouTube comments find him adorable because he's the kid from It.
Oh, he is he?
Yeah.
I haven't seen
Yeah,
it
he's-
yet.
That's
you
such a
really
recurring
sh-
thing.
you
I haven't
really
seen
should.
it either, but I know. And is his name Billy or Bill?
Bill, yeah.
Does he stutter?
He does, actually.
Yeah, because the comments wouldn't shut up about it.
So that's so funny because
the-
last week we were talking on Chicken Little about It because I brought up John Ritter, who played one of the adult characters in the second part of It from the TV movie series with Tim Curry. So that's kind of neat that It just keeps popping up.
So it's actually it is kind of centered around a group of kids, but
Yeah.
if you kind of were to point to a titular main character, it would probably be him. The very first scene of both the book
Well,
and the movie.
he's the brother of the one who gets gobbled
Yeah,
up. at
that's
start, right?
that's the very first scene. So
Georgie.
yeah,
The Tim Curry one's classic. I mean, it's terrible, but Tim Curry's amazing in it. Like,
really is. Yeah.
Tim Curry's just fucking the shiz. But this movie's the shiz too because here he is trying to phone up Child Protective Services, but you know what the film says? It's all in the family, man. Because who's in charge of Child Protective Services?
Glenn's brother.
Glenn, the police commissioner's brother. Which I want to ask you this.
I think I know what you're going to ask, but yeah.
Okay, when you say that, it's always a no, isn't it? Like, when I think I know what you're going to say, that it's something different. But do you think that Glenn's brother knows?
I didn't think you were going to ask that, actually.
And do you think if he does, he is also like this? Like his brother? Do you think he's a weird,
Those eggs are gonna
corrupt
fall out. Those eggs are gonna
arsehole,
fall
or do you
out.
think that he's just covering tracks for his brother and he doesn't believe it? Because at the end, he phones up his brother, it's like, dude, man, like, things are blowing. And he kind of sounded like the actor on the phone, sounded like, whoa, this is actually real kind of thing. So I kind of took it as, I thought the
Wait,
brother was...
You mean the call where he's like, you're going to hear something like...
Yeah, but and then the brother's like, dude, the principal's called up, like, things are getting out of hand.
I thought he was calling other police people.
No, he was calling his brother. He was his brother because he's like, I'm about to kill myself, so you're going to hear some shit, and this
Okay,
is
I
my
thought-
farewell. Who
I
do
thought
you
it-
call
I
when you're
thought it
going to kill
was-
yourself? It's usually the person closest, and
I
that's
thought
his
it was
brother.
as a superior or something that he was
No,
calling.
I mean, he is his own superior, basically. You'd have to call the governor of the state.
I think he did reference like calling his boss of some sort, like
I thought it was like a complaint's going to be filed to the police.
yeah,
so,
or like someone above.
so he's calling the police person.
Now, at the end, he calls his brother, and the brother's like, dude, the principal's called up, and it's too wide for me to protect you from.
Yeah.
Because he's Child Protective Services, so he's been covering it up each time.
or at least willful ignorance. I feel like.
I think personally, I thought it was willful ignorance just because of the actor's vocal performance on the phone later in the movie, where it comes across as like, whoa, this is insane. Like, I thought it wasn't this bad, but like, whoa.
Because I sort of interpreted... Because I didn't know that was the brother.
Okay.
So, based on only, like, the physical actions that Henry saw from a distance, we couldn't hear anything. I got the impression from that he was, like, genuinely asking the daughter, like, has anything been happening?
Oh, yeah.
So I was going to answer no to your
Oh, I thought you would have
question.
noticed when he flipped over the little pamphlet that it said Sickleman. And that's like, it's his brother.
He actually says the word sickle.
I did notice that, but I interpret that as also a bias that, like, of course he'd believe that nothing's going on because it's his brother. Kind of like what we were referring to before about, like, the principal.
Exactly.
So I didn't interpret the brother as being malicious, but if that was him on the phone at the end and he kind of seemed like he did know, then I guess I'm wrong.
Yeah. I did think that final phone call pointed towards him knowing more than they initially led on. He's like, I can't protect you any longer. Like, I can't stop this. As opposed to, I didn't know this was happening.
Well, I think it would be unusual if he didn't know, because throughout the whole movie, Naomi Watts is constantly on the phone to them, trying to get them to do something. So he would have to hear about it.
Would he have to, though? Because there are a lot of caseworkers.
Yeah, but if it's about his brother...
He might actually be...
He's done it before, because Henry tried to do it in the past. Like, that's the implication, because that's why he says there's no point. I mean, here's a scene here in which they're talking, we don't hear what they're saying. So that's why Bartek is like, that's why it works so well, because we don't know what the actual conversation is.
Yeah, I would have thought they would have separated him from the situation deliberately because it was a conflict of interest.
That's what I thought Ryan was going to ask. Like, would they have sent the brother?
Yeah,
no, but that's the thing. If he hears about it first, then it won't be on file. It won't be an actual proper thing. It will be a cover-up. So that's why it works. And, it's...
They had to open up a file. That was his wording at the end. It's like, we have to open up a file.
Exactly, yeah. So before it was all under wraps, it was an official thing, right? There's corruption and everything. I mean, hence this movie exists. There's a corrupt police commissioner. I mean, he's supposed to protect people, but here he is hurting the most innocent of people. So, and obviously, this movie leaves a lot unanswered. It leaves a lot of things open for interpretation. A lot of questions can be asked by things that the movie, may or may not deposit. One of the things that I was thinking about last night, I wrote in my notes and I wanted to bring it up, was later on in the movie, Naomi Watts goes to his house and she asks if he has signed anything over for that. And he says no, and he's like, why are you asking me? He's like, because you guys are usually ducks in a row, and also, since her mum died, and he, as an actor, Dean Norris, reacts to her bringing up the mum, like the mum that has obviously died, in a way that I'm very curious about, because it's one of those acting things of reacting which we don't have the context, so we know him as a bad guy, but I don't know what that reaction was. I personally was like, did he kill her too? Like, did he kill the mum? Like, what's going on? Or does he have a genuine thing where it's like, I loved her, and that's why I'm acting out?
That's like taking it
this way.
Taking it to the next level, though, because it's one thing to be a serial abuser. I think to actually take it to murder of a family member, I think that would be ramping it up quite a bit. And I kind of like that it left it a bit open-ended like that.
And I think another brave choice was also every time we heard him speak until, right at the end when there were threats being made, you did kind of get a sense of... You always saw his facade, so there was always that idea of, is something being misinterpreted here? Could he actually possibly be somewhat...
Yeah. I thought it was great, too, because I've watched Breaking Bad, and his character in that is a policeman, and he's very loud and precocious and whatever. And the funny thing is in this movie, he's a very introverted character. He's very quiet, calm, demeanored. And in a character like this... We've seen this exact same setup in a film called Lakeview Terrace. The next door neighbor's a policeman, and how do you fight a policeman? And in that movie, he's waving his dick about of his power, but in this movie...
Just to be clear, Oliver, it's Samuel L. Jackson as the cop.
Fantastic.
In this movie, he's actually a very quiet, introverted character who doesn't really, enforce the fact that he has power, and he's not an... We know he's an arsehole, but Dean Norris is portraying it in such a way in which he comes across as a really quiet, not nice, but introverted kind of guy. He's not malicious and seething with evil like the way Samuel L. Jackson was. There's no prejudice, there's nothing. We just get implications. But there's nothing from him personally until I would say that phone call that Naomi Watts phones, Naomi Watts sees abuse happening. She phones him up and he kind of has this, just the voice.
A bit
growly. And that's kind of it. Even when later in the movie he's confronted, he's very I'll get the cops onto you and you'll be done and all of that. But he's not like, and he's kind of facing away from her. Like, he's kind of like, I don't know, he's kind of a guy with so much power, but he's powerless. I don't know, it's very interesting the way the acting's done, because that's an acting thing. That's an acting thing or direction thing. Like, there's no writing there to say that necessarily. It's the acting and directing choice, because we had this in Lakeview Terrace, in which you had a guy with supreme power, and Samuel L. Jackson plays it exactly how you want him to play it. But this is the opposite, where Dean Norris, we see him interact with policemen. Again, we don't hear it, and there he is doing what he does in Breaking Bad, like laughing and jesting and, like, you know, punching people on the shoulder and being like, aha, and it's like he's the life of the party. But then when you see him with Naomi Watts and the kid and all that, he's like the opposite of that, and I find it very interesting.
And kind of like gives him depth as a character. Yeah. Which it's kind of dangerous humanizing an abuser like that.
Yeah.
It's possibly problematic. It's like,
people, you know, they're believe it or not, abusers are still humans.
Some people would disagree.
I know. But that's the problem. Like, this movie deposits that kind of thing where it's like, Henry's big philosophical debate is what's the worst thing in society. He says apathy. Well, she says it's, you know, violence. He says apathy. And the movie kind of frames it in a way in which we're supposed to agree with Henry. But then the end of the movie kind of pulls the rug out from underneath you by saying, hey, guess what? Henry was apathetic about violence. And that's wrong. So he, in fact, was corrupted by the very thing he was against. And at the very start of the movie, he had that whole thing about, like, you know, man, you don't need... Legacy isn't about what's in your bank balance. But throughout the whole movie, for the rest of his life, until the very moment he dies, he's worrying about that bank balance. He is apathetic about what he stands for, but he doesn't even notice because he's so smart that he doesn't recognize his own faults. I think that's a brilliant part.
It's like that whole...
That's so good.
That whole character idea of the person who always wins doesn't know how to handle failure. Or in a more common example, like the high school jock who always has his way. Exactly. In the real world, you know, he doesn't.
This movie is that moment in which Henry beats the lunch lady at checkers in one move. That happens to him. He didn't think about the contingency of his brain, but he should have. Like, when I was watching this with my fiance, she's like, if he was so smart, how come? And I'm like, give the movie a chance. And the movie gives you the answers, which was, he was still a child. He's not a full-grown adult, and we are humans. Like, Henry isn't some AI. He is a human, and he makes errors and faults, and the movie contests this throughout the whole thing by saying, it makes you think that Henry is a super Jesus being, Christ imagery, the fact that everyone treats him like he's the smartest person in the world, that he's this adult, but then the movie pulls the rug out from underneath you by being like, he was a child, and
also
you got fooled by his brilliance, but really he was a child.
And also giving you a kind of mind-blown instance of giving you very common information that doesn't really need to be said, and that is, to be smart, you have to learn.
Exactly.
And you know, through your lifetime, you go through all sorts of different learning experiences.
Exactly.
So even if he is like a genius at 11, you know, he's still got more to learn before he can be like a truly genius human being.
Exactly. You're constantly growing through your lifetime, and you're never at, you know, he was like, I'm at my peak. It's like, dude.
Peak, like when he peeks through the window.
Good one.
This is my second clap.
Good one.
Only for
clapping
Ryan
during the seizure scene as well, by the way. Yeah.
Well, this is hospital scene. Seizures happened.
He was just having a seizure, so when I was clapping.
Well, you're probably right.
I was watching, yeah. So, before the episode started, we were talking about this whole sequence and this whole storyline is probably the saddest event, storyline, sequence that we've ever covered on our show before.
Ever? Really?
right up there with Patrick Smash having to be separated from Alan
Alan
A. Allen
Rupert Grint.
in Thunderpants. you know?
Can I just say that I appreciate that you guys, when you saw this movie and you realized that this was the saddest moment, the most depressing,
Yeah.
you thought of me and you brought me on.
Well, I hadn't seen it before, so...
Yeah, I didn't know what was... And I didn't even know the three things he knew.
Oh, you didn't see it?
Oh, I thought you loved child death. That's... You mean you wanted to do Baby's Day Out, and yeah, I mean...
But they say do what you love, and honestly, you know, it's all about streamlining your life, so...
Yeah.
So if you say do what you love, then what is it that Glenn loves?
Oh... That's pretty full on, man. That's pretty full on. He's the next door neighbor, the police Sickleman, Mr. Sickleman. I love that little running. This movie has nice little running things in it, like, you know, do you want the light on, off, door closed, blah blah. It's kind of like they have nice little through lines like that.
Motifs, yeah.
Motifs. They have nice little things like that. It's pretty awesome. Now I'm gonna ask you guys a question. This is one of those children or adult movies kind of thing. You know, like Home Alone has that kind of thing where it's like the young child's really precocious and is kind of like an adult on a level. It's like the fun comes out of like the child's got like adult-like tendencies. Do we have any particular affection for that genre of storytelling? And are there any standout movies that come to mind in that?
So it's funny that you actually mentioned that, because I feel like that as a genre generally isn't done very well. That's my personal opinion. I don't find those sorts of performances very convincing. That's just me. But the irony of that question lies in this movie in and of itself casting this young lad as the main character, because I feel like a good example of the children as adults thing was It.
Yeah.
Which you haven't seen, so I'm going to...
Well,
go ahead and let you watch that first, but
I think one of the obvious examples is Home Alone, right?
I mean, I figured, yeah, because you already mentioned that.
Yeah.
Movies aside from that. But certainly It is right up there, and I think it's well worth your time as well. It's no Book of Henry, but, you know.
Nothing is.
Would you say that Catch That Kid is one?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And, you know, stuff with, like, where the adults can't help and they're a bit inept. Like, you know, a lot of Stephen King stuff has that. Like, you know, Stand By Me. Carrie, yeah.
Oh, you know what? Thunderpants. Towards the end, where they're a NASA.
You know, like, there's a whole great genre. But, you know, I asked that question because this movie is a deconstruction of that, you know? This movie says, hey, you know, that idea, the Kevin McAllister idea, you know, it doesn't work, man. It just doesn't work, because at the end of the day, they still got childlike logic, and they take it to the highest degree of, what if, you know, there's always been that gag of, you know, Kevin from, you know, Home Alone could be the best killer in the world with all of his traps and stuff. But this movie actually takes that idea. What if you had this super adult genius kid and they tried to plan this perfect murder, but there's no such thing as a perfect murder. And there's no such thing as a perfect murder, especially when it comes from a child, because he doesn't have the full cognitive sense to understand morality or any of this, especially this kid. This kid's a sociopath that doesn't realize it.
I'm actually really curious about what would have happened had Naomi Watts gone through with the murder, because he set it up so that specifically Glenn would be killed at that specific point.
At that spot.
I'm curious as to what would have happened in terms of hiding the body, disposing of the evidence.
Well, the movie tells you, buddy.
Like right near the river?
Yep. The idea is you shoot him, he falls in, and he floats down. And then you dispose of the gun, and it's the bullet fragments into his skull and brain, so they can't figure out what type of bullet it is. And she misses the cameras, so it's a perfect crime in the Henry book of things, but there's the morality aspect of it, man. You know,
kind of like would be a bit obvious though. You know, she's kind of contacting Child Protective Services. Like, she's been quite vocal about it. She's the one person in the entire community with a gripe against this character. She's got all the motive in the world from the
but there's no evidence.
So it felt like they're corrupt enough that they would barely need it. That's kind of the point of this, is that.
But since she's such a vocal person, it wouldn't go down very well.
So like a weirdo, I walked into this movie not expecting Henry to die.
Yeah.
And when the mum had the line about, have some sort of flaw, like develop a bad habit or something, and then he was like, investigating gun stores and that, I was thinking to myself, a possibility was, is he going to become a vigilante? And that's the weird thing Ryan was alluding to.
That's one of the things that people did say about this movie was, fuck, is he becoming Batman?
Yeah.
Because he's full on about like vigilante justice and
And then when
violence and apathy and all this. He's like, what is he, fucking Batman?
And then when the brother gave that whole wham line of I think Henry wants you to kill Glenn, I was like, oh, so on a level I was going in the right direction.
You were 100% right. If Henry lived, he would have killed Glenn. He said this. He's like, I would do this, but obviously I'm not around.
How would he gotten the gun, though?
Well, it's Henry, man. He's smart.
Maybe
he's smart.
Maybe the threat that he told his mum to make would have worked. I don't know.
Maybe he would be like, "Damn it, Janice, give me a gun."
Damn it, Janice, give me a gun.
Then the guy will say, "I'm not Janice." Then he'll say, "Dominic, though," and then he'll get the gun.
And then he gets a gun.
Dominic sent a little child.
By the way, Sarah Silverman's in this movie, and she's about to kiss him, which I found very unique.
On the lips.
This is probably that kid's first kiss.
Oh my god!
Think about that.
Did it happen in It?
They do kiss in it, don't they?
I think they do. I mean, in the book, more than that happens.
Yeah, but this
spoilers.
Did he kiss the clown?
Not quite, but I mean, the book is very contentious for a number of reasons, and what happens with the kids.
You mean gangbang? You could say the child gangbang in the book.
Hold on, I'm not asking if Jaden kissed in the book.
It's not a gangbang, Ryan. It's...
Did the actor kiss in the book?
Right. It's what they call a fuck train.
Yes, thank you. I know, but the fact that Stephen King is allowed to keep writing.
I know.
Is that like a man train?
Yeah. So in the book, after they defeat it when they're kids, the idea to make sure it doesn't come back for some reason is to lose their virginities. But since there's only one girl...
No, it had to do with them escaping from the sewer.
Yeah.
They had to solidify their bond. By having sex with each other.
Yeah, but that's... to seal the deal, they have to lose their virginity, but there's only one girl. And so they all have sex with her. And the book highlights this and gives graphic detail. Like, the fat kid has, like, the biggest dick. She talks about it very vivid. It's very vivid. And Stephen King's some weird sex weirdo.
It literally goes on, like, I read that in...
They're underage. They're, like, 12 or something.
It goes on for, like... 10 pages or something. It's like way too
I was very upset to hear that the new movie didn't include it because I thought
what is
brave. It would be brave if they did.
It would be a suicide if they did because Jesus.
Oh man, don't you find it weird that there are movies that give you characters like this and they pussy out like in the... People always forget that in the Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street series, that Freddy Krueger was a fucking child molester. They kind of you forget that. Forget that, but that's like the core of his character of why he was burnt to death was he fucking raped children.
I thought he was accused of being raped, but he didn't actually rape anyone.
Oh, didn't he?
I've only seen the remake.
I thought that was the whole reason he was so annoyed, because he was falsely accused.
No, I always thought that he got annoyed because they fucking murdered him.
Well, yeah, they murdered him because they thought he was a rapist when in actuality
if you're Wes Craven, tell us the answer.
I'm actually curious. I might be wrong about this. But that's okay.
Yeah, you could just go to Wiki.
Nah, Wes Craven needs to tell me personally. I think he's dead, but come tell me.
Maybe I was thinking of the Simpsons version of it.
I've never had a brain tumor.
Could afford me.
I thought you meant I've never had a brain.
I've never had a brain, but I have a heart, Bartek.
Ryan, you're actually a brain in a human body.
You have a heart, but you find child death hilarious.
I never said that. You're putting that into my mouth.
I don't want to put anything in your mouth.
Then stop putting it in there.
What about a delicious lollipop?
See, that would be pleasant.
That's a cock shape, though.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, still a lollipop.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What are you so homophobe? Jeez.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Against cocks? They're good animals.
I know, right?
Really? You said earlier that, only one girl, so the only option was to all have sex with her.
Yeah, why can't they have homosexual sex, Stephen King? You fucking homophobe. Fucking
how did the Book of Henry turn into Stephen King bashing?
You brought up it.
Did I?
Yes.
Oh.
And that's one of the things about it. You shouldn't bring it up.
Bring it.
It's
up.
like the Bye Bye Man.
Yeah, we've done Sleepwalkers.
Don't say it. Don't think it.
Mm.
So, this is when the movie's like, hey, let's talk about finances, which is very interesting because in movies like this.
Just to be clear, this isn't the first time they bring it up.
No, but this is the last time.
Yeah. Last time, why? Is Henry busy after this?
Yeah, he goes on holidays for a while.
Also, he buys her a new car somehow.
Yeah, he already did it before.
Because
Yeah, but like,
stocks-
how?
It's at the lot. Because they have over $1 million.
I thought it was 600,000.
They have 680 grand in an account, and then double that in stocks and bonds. So they have over $1 million of money.
I mean, you could have $1 billion, but that doesn't make buying a car legal if you're underage. That's what I'm curious about.
Oh, you're worried about him being underage.
Yeah.
Oh, you see, he can forge things very well. The movie kind of shows you that he can forge information, so he could get a fake ID.
And he somehow got the car back to the house.
No. He said it's in a lot.
Oh, in a lot, yeah. He got a car to the lot, though, didn't he?
You don't have to drive a car to the lot.
I assume someone put it
Got it
there.
to-
It's
for him to
there.
pick up.
Yeah.
I still find it, very interesting.
Have you bought a car?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Good.
Picked up from the dealership, though.
There you go. There you go. So, but did you
Was there-
drive it to the dealership?
Was there an option to take it to a lot?
Yeah.
I thought the lot and the dealership would be two separate places. That's why I'm bringing it up.
Did you do the stock thing and have over $1 million?
Maybe I did. You don't know.
Did you have a brain tumor?
I mean, maybe
Is
I did.
Oliver your real name?
Is it Jennifer?
Oh, well, why aren't you caring?
Or is it,
Okay, Peter, calm down.
No, or is Peter your younger brother?
Oh.
Is he given the first book of Henry?
The plot thickens.
The plot is very thick in this.
You know, Oliver is smart.
I do want to just say something though. Sarah Silverman's in this movie, and I just love before we started.
Wait, who does she play?
She plays Sheila, the friend that's an alcoholic. That so much of an alcoholic they find her in her backyard asleep in a chair.
With a half-drunk bottle of wine. She's not an alcoholic, the mum
Is
says.
she dating anyone? Does she kiss anyone in this film? Like,
Yeah, she kisses Hank. So, what I was gonna say was, I love before we started this, Bartek, you were like, hey, I think that's Sarah Silverman. No, it can't be her. Like, why? Why can't it be her? What about Sarah Silverman says that it can't be her? Is it because what about her?
I guess I just wasn't expecting it. I don't know.
What do you know Sarah Silverman, for and from? And what is Sarah Silverman to you? Can I talk you into Sarah Silverman?
Not much, really. I just know she's a comedian and she's got that voice.
What's she been in?
Well, she's in Wreck-It Ralph as
Right,
the
yeah.
little princess. She's in the Sarah Silverman show.
I would believe that, but then again, just checking.
I've seen her on Last Week
What,
Tonight.
on Wreck-It Ralph.
No, that Sarah Silverman is in the Sarah Silverman show.
She's in the Sarah Silverman show. That was a big show.
Mm-hmm.
She dated Jimmy Kimmel.
Really?
Yeah, that's where
Yeah, I
the
think so.
I Fucked Matt Damon song came from. That was a big thing for her too. Because she broke up with Jimmy Kimmel and he had a running gag on it, he still does, about how he doesn't like Matt Damon. So then she has the I
Yeah.
Fucked Matt Damon song.
I watched the Oscars last year.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
But I swear she's been in something else.
She's been in tons. She's just very funny. She's a stand-up, obviously. She's a
she's
stand-up
prolific
specialist.
comedian.
She
Prolific
sits down a lot in
comedian.
this movie, actually.
She does. She lays down a little too. No, she's just very, very funny. Very interesting. She's weird. Very Jewish.
Very Jewish.
That's
Not
part
just
of
a
her
little-
stand-up.
Just a little Jewish.
I
And
personally
really distinct voice.
not this thing. Yeah, she's like the young Fran Drescher. Yeah. I love her in. Get this. You think it's hard for Bartek to understand that she's in this movie? I think you're thinking because she's this funny lady that's known for like being very kind of full on and
Maybe.
confrontation, controversial comedian, and she's in this, and you're like, can't be her. She wouldn't be in this. I'm like that every single day of my life when I think of her in Star Trek Voyager. There's an episode of Star Trek Voyager where they travel back in time to the 90s. This is true. They travel back in time to the 90s because Ed Begley Jr. has stolen future technology and is trying to make, like, himself a trillion billionaire. Like, he's trying to make himself super rich by using future technology to amplify his business. But get this, she's a hacker. He's
Excuse
like, Ed
me?
Begley Jr. is constantly chasing after her throughout all of America because she keeps hacking him.
Oh my god.
And it's just like a young Sarah Silverman as this computer hacker. And she's like, yeah, it's called a RAM drive.
a RAM drive. Fuck off.
Every single day they try to play her as a romantic interest for one of the characters. And I just find it great because it's like one of those time travel episodes where it's like, I'm sorry, but we have to leave you behind, but I'll forever remember you. And then he never does. But it's just so fucking funny to me that Sarah Silverman's a fucking hacker. And they're playing it dead serious. Like, she's not being funny in the episode. Like, she might have some funny lines being like, what's with the pointy ears, weirdo? But like, she uses the 90s slang.
Do you think she's capable of doing anything serious? Like a serious.
Didn't you watch
dramatic-
Book of Henry?
I mean, she is kind of a wacky character in this, though. So you could argue that she's not a serious character.
You're right.
So
I swear she's done some dramatic performances in the past. I just am not as familiar with her filmography.
Well, Wreck-It Ralph.
I suddenly want to
Wreck-It
bake.
Ralph.
You really are a bad guy.
Yeah, but Wreck-It Ralph, she is really good at it, though.
He is, yes.
Ryan, I suddenly want to bake, and I don't know why.
Salmonella.
What?
Is that a type of salmon?
Yes.
Yum. Wait,
Salmon-
I hate fish.
It's summoned for someone
I wouldn't even
named
joke about
Ella
that.
specifically.
One of my favorite things online I saw was it's like, eating brownie mixture. Don't care about that salmonella, but they spelled it wrong. They spelled it like Salma Nilla, and it's like, man, I can't wait for that woman Salma to come to the house
Salma.
later on, being like, boy, you fucked up.
Hi, Mike.
Even like they have it chained,
Oh
and they're
my
like,
God.
boy, you fucked up.
even the greatest films have typos in them.
Yeah.
I found out the other day that there's a typo in the first Terminator.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Where?
It's called Rominator, which is really weird.
No, there's a scene where he goes to a gun shop. When he walks into the gun shop, it says that there's a clearance sale, but the second A is not there, so it's a clearnessy sale.
Well, that's just a local business as well. My favorite typo ever in a show or a movie is the TV show Quantum Leap. Yeah, that's right. I like 80s and 90s sci-fi. In the TV show Quantum Leap, spoiler alert for a show that ended over 20 years ago, it ends with a title card being like, the whole idea is like, he's trapped in the past, traveling time, he keeps traveling through time. Hopefully the next leap will be the leap home. But it ends with a title card being like, Dr. Sam Beckett never returned home. ... And then fade to black. But they spelled Beckett wrong.
Oh no!
They spelled it with
spelled
only.
the
They only
name-
spelled it with one T.
They spelled the name of the main character.
The name of the main character
That is incompetent.
of 7 seasons wrong. And it's just like, what the fuck, guys? I've been waiting for when they eventually reboot it, and it will be like title card, Dr. Sam Beckett, and then you just see like a line cross through it, and then they spell it correctly, then ... and then until now,
Right.
and then the TV show starts
Right.
again.
Maybe they weren't referring to the main character.
Can I be honest with you? It took me until the very last scene of the movie not the very last scene, but the very final scene with the Doctor character to realize that's Lee Pace.
Lee Pace.
The actor, he's in the Hobbit movies as
Oh,
Orlando Bloom's dad.
He is, isn't he?
And he's in the TV show Pushing Daisies.
My goodness.
The one where he brings back dead people when he touches them, but that causes someone else to die.
He's a lot shorter in the Hobbit movies.
But it took me ages to realize, oh my god, that's Lee Pace. I like Lee Pace. He's usually really good, and he's really good here. I think he has a good interaction with Daniel here, who plays Peter. I think the actors' rapport with one another throughout this whole movie is very good, especially Janice. She's got a real good rapport with everyone involved throughout the movie. She's just like, that dance.
Is the actor's name Daniel?
Isn't it Daniel Tremblay?
The kid?
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought his name was Jason. or
This
something.
scene with this girl.
Maybe Jacob Tremblay. Fuck, I can't remember. Now you got me wondering.
All I remember is I think the two kids both began with a J.
This scene with this girl, she drinks her drink to determine its Diet Coke. She doesn't seem mad at all about it.
No,
actually
she seems-
seems like cool about it.
She's like, well, that was weird.
yeah, she's like, she actually smiles.
Hey, don't you find it good that it's breaking that trope? that like every customer in the thing is mean to the servers, and then this wacky thing happens, and he's like, she's still looking in the background. They're like, what the fuck happened there?
Yeah. She's the entire time she's staring at
How
him.
would you respond to her question, Ryan?
Is this diet? I actually wouldn't know. I mean, looking at it, how are you supposed to tell?
Yeah. I mean, you know what?
it
She
is-
did the
I'd,
most
gra-
practical thing.
I'd grab a straw and be like, do you mind? Yep.
You probably
'Cause you're
be able to,
drinking-
can I taste test it? I don't know otherwise.
But you don't drink it straight from the glass because they're like, ew, germs.
To be fair, if you served that drink, you would probably know. You wouldn't have to test in that way.
Well,
If
she's
you were
just a
server,
waitress, so she
Yeah.
might have it just plunked on the plate, and off she goes.
You don't put a drink on a plate.
She's walking over with the whole thing
On a tray.
on a tray. You fuck you.
I guess you could respond.
What are you, the fucking trope customer there? Being like, easy drink for my drink, instead of being the cool one who got what I meant. Bartek is usually the pedantic one of the group, got what I meant. You didn't have to complain.
You should know me by now. That
No, I don't need to know you by now. Fuck off. Fuck you. Fuck. I really don't think his name's Daniel now. I think it's Jacob. Let's call him Ryan Tremblay because it's me. He's my insert character. Who was your favorite character in this?
I liked Naomi Watts.
Yeah,
I
the
felt-
actress, but the character I meant.
I can't remember her character's name, despite the fact that she's my favorite.
Why was she your favorite?
I felt a lot of empathy towards her and her situation.
Because her kid died.
Well, even before that, she felt insecure about herself. She understood that there is an underlying fragility to her situation of her child, relying on her child for everything.
Yeah.
So when it came time for him to die, as all 11-year-olds have,
He was almost 12.
Oh, almost.
It made me think of the boy next door. He's almost 20. You mean he's 19?
I can actually guess who your favorite character is, Ryan.
Go
you might
on.
have mentioned it, but I think I can guess.
Go on.
is it?
Sorry, were you done, Bartek? I kind of interrupted.
I could have spoken more, but I think I made my point. I have a big thing for single mum characters.
Because you're a single mum?
I mean, I have one, so
Oh, you're not one, though.
Could have fooled
no,
me.
I'm not.
Could have followed me.
You know who's a single mum?
You?
Jennifer.
That's... Oh, my God. Are you Bartek's mum?
You know what? I haven't checked.
I haven't checked. Like, what does that mean? Like, let me get the receipt.
The receipt. I bought him from the store. So I think that your favorite character in this movie is the dodgeball guy, the rapping kid at the end. I think
You
that's...
nailed it.
I think. Am I right?
It was a toss-up between him and Janice.
Okay.
I was thinking Janice.
Alright.
It's definitely Janice.
Because
but, like,
before we started to record the episode, I mentioned him, and you're like, "Oh yeah, that character existed," so I didn't think he'd be your favorite.
No, but Janice.
I don't
definitely.
think Janice was that interesting. I think
Excuse me, damn it, Janice.
Yeah, no, but that's Henry being interesting towards.
Did you not watch her reaction? She threw her hands up in the air like this is just another day of Henry.
I mean, if you were in that position, I feel
Look,
like you would
dude,
react.
Bartek
similarly.
knows me. He knows that I have an affinity towards sassy black women in movies.
See the Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day episode.
Or mystery box episode on Meteor Apocalypse.
Were you let down by that character?
I was, but she was my favorite.
That's actually a good
Little
point.
let down by your favorite
I could be.
character.
No, the movie was a letdown.
I think that any of these characters could be your favorite character.
Who's yours?
Because they're all brilliant.
Oh
Honestly.
yeah, 100%
Every-
brilliant.
Is yours
every-
Glenn?
Yeah, his is the child rapist. Yeah,
I do have a soft spot.
listen
for
to
Dean
our Baby
Norris.
Day Out episode. Yeah.
Oh well. Oh my god, I forgot about that.
Which I asked you, would you have sex with that baby? And you said
You know
yeah.
what? This is actually
I
true.
feel like I forget a lot of things. and regret it
Last
later.
night when I was chatting to Oliver on Facebook, he did message me in surprise saying, "Oh my god, Dean Norris is in this."
Yeah, I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, and you said that I told you, but I don't really know who he is, so it must have been that.
He's
Ryan
never
told
watched
you.
Breaking Bad.
I've seen all of Breaking Bad. I kind of had a soft spot for him in Breaking Bad in a way.
He was really good in Gremlins too.
Gremlins 2 or Gremlins TOO?
No, there's Gremlins too.
Okay. Yeah, but I think I'm going with Bartek on this one. I think Naomi Watts' character. Purely because I feel like she's the most developed and she actually has...
Did
kind
you
of
not
like
see
an arc.
Janice tear up when she saw that dance and realized, shit, that girl is molested?
I mean,
That was developed.
I mean,
Yeah.
Naomi Watts cried too.
Oh, yeah, but Naomi Watts is always crying and everything. She's always crying. She wants that Oscar so hard.
What was that movie she was in, like, where...
Mulholland Drive?
No, The Others, I think it's called. Was that her? Or was that Jodie Foster?
The Others, I do believe, was Nicole Kidman.
Shit.
The one where it's like her in a mansion and
Yeah,
there's,
with
like
her
servants.
kids
Yeah,
and
that's Nicole Kidman.
Spoilers for
It's
a movie
okay.
that's been out for 15 years.
It's
but-
okay to get your Australian actresses mixed up because Naomi Watts is Australian. And so is Nicole. So it's okay, and they both start with an N. I'll give you a fair shake of the sauce bottle, as Kevin Rudd, the former Prime Minister of Australia, said once.
He can speak Chinese.
Can he?
As he constantly
Mandarin
fucking
Chinese,
reminds
yeah.
every single time he speaks. But hey,
In English or Chinese Mandarin?
well, both. But I don't know because I don't speak Chinese Mandarin. So
Well, you should.
yeah, I really should.
If you want to be Prime Minister one day.
Yeah, I mean Malcolm Turnbull, I don't think speaks Chinese Mandarin.
He doesn't speak human either, but like that's okay.
He doesn't speak good policy.
Not like that, Tony.
He speaks rich cunt. That's what he speaks.
Okay.
Well, you know Malcolm Turnbull's one of the richest men in the Southern Hemisphere as well as Australia, right?
Really?
His mansion is so big. This is true. Our Prime Minister of Australia is a businessman. He's like Trump, really. Like, they're a businessman as well as a politician. But ours at least was a politician for years. But he's so rich that he bought a mansion next to his other mansion so that he could demolish both of them and make one mansion that was so big. Like, that's how rich he is.
Can we go?
That's comical.
Can we go to his mansion?
It's so big he won't find us, right?
Turnbull Land?
Is it a micronation?
Playing hide and seek.
He's
in
the
a house
king
like
of
that.
his country.
It's probably bigger than Sealand.
He's the kind of prime minister who's like, oh yes, I'm totally down with the equal rights. I'll make a plebiscite so that I can totally come across as blameless for the fact that I would have voted no.
God, do not get me started on the fucking plebiscite.
So, back to Booker Henry.
Please, thank you.
They have a bold move of putting a plebiscite in
Oh my god, I want to die.
in which Henry comes back from the dead and says, gays, should we allow them to marry?
I did think it was weird when Malcolm Turnbull turned up and like supported him.
I thought you were going to say, it was weird when Malcolm Turnbull turned up to play Henry due to the fact that he's playing the
In
older
only that one scene.
as the older version of Henry.
You age more in heaven.
I'm so done.
Yeah, exactly. I know he's God. Like, Malcolm Turnbull comes down, he's God, with his little angel, Tony Abbott. Hello. Who was the other prime? Okay, for a bit of context for non-Australians, Tony Abbott. In Australia, we've had 5 prime ministers in 5 years, so
Yeah.
just figure that out for yourself. But one of the prime ministers was Tony Abbott, the living embodiment of a blister. And
If you live in America, and you watched Last Week Tonight, they had a sketch about it.
It was actually
He-
5
he-
in 4 years. People made a joke
Yeah.
that we had more prime ministers and there was a higher turnover rate for the Australian prime ministership than there was for...
Doctor Who.
No, I was going to say for the Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher at fucking Hogwarts.
Yeah, no, it's true though.
Yeah, so this decade we had Gillard at the beginning, then before her term ended, Rudd replaced
Came back.
her.
Yeah, it was so good. But Tony
Then-
Abbott, just for a bit of context, was the one that is a cartoon.
Yeah.
He literally ate onions like apples.
Yeah, raw onions.
Raw onions like they were fucking apples. And he had so many great one-liners. They wrote a musical about him, and they had like apparently like on stage they had a big glowing sign that was like, this is verbatim what he said. Glow when they had monologues from him because it was just so farcical.
I love that interview where someone asked him a question, he just nodded in silence, and then he's like, "You're not saying anything, Tony. I'm giving you the answer that you
Oh,
deserve."
yeah. That was amazing. He was fuming
Look,
with rage.
Americans listening and English people listening, everyone has crazy politicians. We have one too. His name's Bob Catter. He's literally a cowboy. And he wants to bring guns back to Australia.
Yeah, I'm looking at my palm because I can't think of
I
anyone
thought,
else.
I was...
We have one that thinks he's a meme, Clive Palmer.
Yeah,
I literally
He's amazing.
catch the tram and there's like a sign that's the size of a building of him giving a thumbs up with a glowing background, and it's like with writing that's the same as a meme writing, big like Clive is here. And I'm like, fuck off. Nothing says cool to me like a politician trying to make themselves a meme. That's my favorite. kind of
Why don't you
politician.
Pokemon go to the polls.
No, Obama was the meme machine. He would do all those funny little
Yeah, but
like,
he wouldn't.
sketches
He
and
wouldn't
stuff.
intend to be a meme a lot of the time. Like people would just kind of meme him.
He would make He would do those sketches. It was fun. I mean, he was fun though. So I mean, you know,
I
whatever.
feel like a lot of those sketches were reactionary, like the "Thanks Obama" thing that he kind of rolled with. You know, as far as me is concerned, like they're a lot worse.
He literally mic dropped at one of the press conferences.
Yeah,
because he was that cool.
He really is.
Back to the film. It was weird that when Obama came in and mic dropped at the end for his talent show.
Yeah, and he replaced Peter.
It's really interesting that Obama came to the Calvary talent show and he beat all the show. Hey, we never found out who won the talent show. In Australia, I don't know about you guys. I grew up in the country, so maybe I'm wrong here. I'm just going to say, in Australia, we don't do talent shows at schools. At least I never did.
Depends on the school.
At my first high school we did, but it was...
What was your one? What did you do?
I hosted the last one, I think.
Oh.
So you didn't even do anything?
I didn't perform in it, no.
So your talent was hosting?
Yeah, well, I was one of the school leaders.
Were you now?
Yeah, one of the lower ranked ones, but yeah.
Prefect.
They called it homeroom mentor, which I still don't know what that means.
I was a prefect.
I was a vice captain, baby. I was your boss.
Not a full captain.
Nah,
but you got to wear jeans, right?
I got to wear jeans, so I was like, hey. I mean, I didn't wear school uniform after like year 11. Yeah, so fuck it. I wore the badge though. I tripped a kid over one time when I was vice captain, and it was great because I got away with it.
You are a film villain, Ryan.
I'm not Henry.
You are a film villain.
To answer your question, though, maybe the kid with the standing ovation one.
Yeah, maybe he won.
That tends to, be a sign in movies.
I think Janice won.
Can I please talk about the magic trick from Peter?
Shouldn't we wait for that to happen, Ryan?
Yeah, we should really wait for it.
Oh man, okay, but seriously, that's like in my notes.
Wait for
underlined a lot.
It's significant. We'll wait for it.
So there's a gun here. Have you ever fired a gun before?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You have?
Yeah.
You guys are fucking crazy.
I mean, I've told you.
I was born in the country. I didn't fire no guns, and I'm the one you should expect it from.
I haven't fired one in Australia.
Why the fuck are you firing guns, Oliver?
For a birthday, I actually got one of those red balloon experiences from my sister. And
I don't know what that means.
Do you know what a red balloon is? It's like
I know what a red balloon is.
So
like a balloon that happens to be red.
It's this company that sells experiences, like get driven in a Formula 1 car or something like that, or take a hot air balloon ride, or
like a Make-A-Wish.
Kinda, but you're not dying.
You're not dying. Yeah, I was gonna say
you're not fucking Henry.
So yeah. if you're not dying, but you're really jealous of that Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Okay, so you stole the dreams of a dying kid, and your dream was to shoot guns.
Yeah, so you actually...
Oh, interesting.
I went out to this range, and, there were these shotguns. We got to do,
You fucking shot shotguns?
Yeah, clay target shooting.
You're fucking kidding me.
Yeah, man.
Did you fire shotguns?
I can prove this.
I had the option to, but I didn't.
Right, hey, Ryan. There was actually a competition. I got a medal for it.
For shooting shotguns?
Pump
action? Sawn off what? Give me deets.
They were so one of those shotguns that has two shells.
Okay.
Two shells
double barrel?
Yeah, double barrel, yeah.
2 shells.
Well, I mean they do.
I don't even play with I haven't even fired a gun and I'm knowing more. Jesus.
I just forgot about it.
Ryan's trying to be superior.
Yeah.
So no more.
Fuck me, Dad.
You should go shoot a gun. It's really cathartic, actually.
Oh, good. Can I aim it at you?
Oh, wow.
You really are a villain.
I'm not. I'm the hero.
To quote Sarah Silverman, you really are a bad guy.
Clay targets, though. No one got hurt, unfortunately.
Well, I mean the targets.
Now who's the fucking villain?
Well, I mean...
He's the one with multiple personalities. He wears little glasses and he has a side part. Who's the little Hitler in the room here? It's Oliver.
Oh my god.
What do you mean by side part?
His hair is parted to the side.
Yeah, I mean...
I think it kind of explained itself.
It's pretty
okay, that's not ableism.
I mean, most
No, that's hairism.
Yeah.
Heroism.
I'm a hero. I'm telling you, watch out for Oliver. He's the next Malcolm Turnbull.
If I'm the next Hitler and you've got this curly Jufro going on,
wow.
then you should probably watch
and
it.
I'm Polish.
Wow.
And you're quarter Polish, Oliver.
I am actually.
Oliver's dropping in things. things that were pretty full on. I don't have a Jew fro, I have an Aboriginal fro, because I got Aboriginal DNA in me, so you're racist, and I'm gonna get Centrelink now for my trauma.
You were the whitest person I know.
Haha. You're the whitest person you know. You're the whitest man ever.
Yeah, I'm pretty white.
You look exactly like the type of guy that they would draw in the background in an animated movie
Oh my God.
where they're in the city. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like there's Oliver in the background. Like there he is, like on his way to work. You're the guy on the train.
I'm okay with that.
You're that.
Yeah.
Oliver looks like an otter. Which, when I said that to him the other week, he automatically was like, you know, otters is a gay thing? And I'm like, I just talking about the animal, man. You're bringing in this stuff about the sexual code of otters.
Just kind of amusing to me that you went for one of the few animals that's like a euphemism in that way.
Isn't every animal a fucking euphemism at this point for something sexual?
They say that about Benedict Cumberbatch as well.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You're Benedict Cumberbatch.
Fucking please.
Alright.
A man who I've described... not I did, but...
Dude's a very
The man-
successful actor.
I've heard him be
like-
described as having a face only a mother could love.
Ooh.
Yeah.
He's
Clearly,
got this-
clearly that person wasn't a
I
fan.
mean, anyone in the Marvel
The kind of
Cinematic
mum who
Universe,
names him
though.
Benedict, yeah.
Yeah, well...
Anyone in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is really like got it made at this point.
Yeah, Don Cheadle's just fucking nailing it.
I mean, he could be worse off.
Oliver, Benedict Cumberbatch is from the real life universe.
Of Zack and Cody.
That's Sweet Life.
Fucking idiot. I haven't even watched Sweet Life, but I know what he's doing.
Alright.
I
don't
know you're-
Well, I'm talking about real life.
He's talking about the real life
Like
world.
what we're in.
I don't understand what you mean by real life.
We're in it, man.
I don't.
You're firing
the opposite of fantasy.
You're firing shotguns and shit.
Yeah, I'm having fun, man. What are you doing?
My dad owns a handgun.
Does he?
Yeah.
How many toilets as well while we're at it? Fucking, he has 1 million toilets. How many
I'm talking bathrooms or things that he can pee in.
Oh,
Well, he's got 3 things he can pee
Well,
in
you
and
can-
a backyard.
You can
I
pee in
guess.
anything, really.
you could pee in your handgun.
You can. I don't recommend it, but you can physically do that. That is something that you can.
How many handguns? Just one? Or one for each toilet?
I know that
I gotta guard them.
he and my stepmom both have.
You can't go to the bathroom.
Oh, so
without
there's
a gun.
two. There's a boy handgun and a lady handgun. That's beautiful.
I know that they're different.
Do you get a handgun when you visit?
I mean, when I visit
Bartek,
is when we
it's
go to
time
the
for
range.
you to have a handgun.
I don't want a handgun
Why? Don't you want to be like your dad?
because I don't know.
3 toilets and a handgun?
3 toilets.
3 bathrooms are in, but 4 toilets.
4 toilets.
Wait,
then
sorry.
where's
One of
the-
them's
where's the
one of
extra
them's
toilet?
one of them's a urinal. Sorry, that's not really.
Really? Here's a
Yeah.
urinal.
Yeah.
Yeah. See how you said really in a previous episode when Bartek brought this up? I said that and he treated it as what? That's unusual.
That is
yes!
very
no, I
yes.
didn't
No,
treat
that
it
is
as that's
definitely.
unusual.
I'm with you.
No, I wasn't
Really.
treating it as unusual. It was more a thing of, oh yeah, I forgot about it. So like, oh yeah, and a
Oh, yeah.
toilet.
Okay.
I might have said it
If
matter-of-factly.
anyone should have a urinal in their cubby house, it's Henry, but he doesn't. He has a fridge for a door, though. That's
Yeah.
pretty impressive.
He's also dead, so he
There
doesn't need
was
one.
also a car door as part of a wall and stuff like that. It's very well put together, I think. I really liked that set design, by the way. Like,
yeah, I
loved
mean,
it.
you
It's
know,
almost like this is a good movie.
it was the best
Yeah.
movie. Where was its Oscar? You know, for the performances and for the direction.
Well, they had to give it to what's his face, Denzel Washington.
for Roman J. Israel, a movie no one saw.
The fact that you remember the title.
I don't even.
Well,
haven't
I
even
do
never heard of
because
that.
I like the directors of the film Nightcrawler,
Oh, that makes
Oh,
sense.
you mean Nightcrawler? Okay.
Dan Gilroy, who's
Right.
usually a writer, I'm pretty sure, or something else. But yeah, it was his first director, and then that one, and no one saw it. But apparently it was alright. It had Colin Farrell in it, so also I like
I mean, I
Colin.
heard that Denzel got a nomination, so
Heard or no?
I've heard.
But do you know?
No.
Get your facts straight, mister.
I just said I know.
No, oh, fuck you. What are you, fucking Oliver now?
That's not an Oliver movie.
High five.
What are you, fucking him right in front of me, you otter?
I'm sick. I cough in my hands.
Oh, I just got denied a high five for.
I mean,
Do you want me to high five you instead?
Fucking.
You know, I didn't.
High five, Oliver.
But Oliver, I didn't say no. I just said.
Creepy
High,
man.
high
just gave you a
five.
reason.
Creepy man.
High five.
All right, here you go.
No.
No.
I just denied you.
No.
I was being nice and then you denied me, so guess what? It's biblical. Peter denied Jesus 3 times and then a rooster crowed and then he changed his mind.
Is that what?
That's in the Bible. Tell him, Bartek.
Yeah, doubtful. Wait, was it?
No, that's doubting Thomas. Thomas
mistake,
doubted
yeah.
Jesus until he saw the wound and had to touch it. But Peter was the denier, and
Yeah, yeah.
Judas was the betrayer.
It was when Jesus was being crucified, he was running through the town and everyone was saying like, "Oh, you're Peter, you're one of his apostles." He said, "No."
No, I don't know him.
And then it happened again and he said, "No." And then it happened again, he said, "No." And then a rooster crowed and he was like,
Moved.
he did the crying thing.
Let me tell you, all it takes is a good cock to turn someone around.
You know, Peter, when he died, he was crucified upside down, and that's where the upside down cross comes from.
And he was the first pope, I believe, right?
Yeah, they all died horribly for the most part. I think
Except John.
John,
John was the good boy.
he got to live.
I think he got to live a long life.
Thomas died the most horrible one.
Thomas?
Yeah, doubting Thomas. He died very horribly. He had like multiple things happen to him. Like they ripped off his
Are
fingernails.
we talking like Rasputin level? Or...
They ripped off his fingernails, I'm pretty sure. I think they eventually boiled him alive, but I think they did a few other things to him. Thomas had a fun time, let's just say. I think one of them just got beaten to death on the streets for trying to preach, and they're like, "Fuck you!" So yeah, this movie's just the Book of Henry. It's very religious. I think it's a good thing too. You know, I ask this question a lot with movies. Who's this for? And I think this movie's, I said, for children and mums, but really at the end of the day, it's for everyone.
I was just about to say that. It really is. Like, there's something to be gained from watching this regardless of what age, you know, or nationality, sex, gender, anything. I think everyone can kind of draw something nice from this.
Exactly, you're nailing it. So this script took 20 years almost to get realized. The writer of it wrote it, and he kept rewriting it as he grew older and older and older. So that's why it has this really interesting thing of like childlike enthusiasm and views, but then also the wisdom of an older person growing and maturing. Isn't that interesting?
I believe there was also a trivia point that the original script before the director came on was more of a black comedy, and he didn't like that, so he made it a bit more... I don't know, serious is the right word, but he made it more in line with his vision.
Yeah.
A black comedy was not his vision.
Exactly. Which is upsetting, because I would love the black comedy. I mean, I thought this was funny, though.
Yeah.
Maybe not black,
You
though.
find humor in the strangest things, right?
Like your face.
Yeah.
It's because it looks like an otter. The gay otter, of course. Not the fucking animal. I mean,
Of course.
When I say otter, you think gay, obviously. I mean, it's the first thing that should come to mind, you know. When I say cat, you think gay. You know, any animal, really, is some gay euphemism for.
Pussy
Buffalo.
is gay.
Yeah.
Pussy is for the lesbians.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. They gotta have something.
There we go.
What?
You said there you go, so I said there we go.
I love her
Yes.
dress.
It's pretty good, actually.
Damn it,
Well, Ryan,
Janice.
you love her, that's the thing.
Damn it, god damn it, Janice, that dress.
Her bling, though. Wow.
If she was related to the teacher from Alexander's Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day or whatever, it wouldn't shock me. If this was the same universe and Steve Carell was like sitting in the crowd being like covered in burns, being like, woo! I would love it.
Look, Ryan, it's this part.
It's Oliver's favourite character.
I completely disagree. I
Isn't
thought it was
it-
your favorite character.
That's why it's yours, because you thought it of me, but really you're projecting. It's Freud.
For comedy purposes, he is my favorite.
For comedy purposes?
Yeah. As in, like, if I had to pick a favorite character based on comedic aspects of this film.
Oh, not Mr. Sickleman?
The Glenn?
Yeah, I thought it was really funny when
He
it
was
was like
hilarious, but-
when it was he was hilarious when it was like these leaves, man, and she's like, "Ooh."
Dude, when he fucking,
I like how I asked, you mean Glenn, as if, like, the brother was in
when
it.
when he fucking shoots himself, I'm just like side splitting the.
Well, we don't see it on screen, so he could be alive.
Laughing yourself to death.
LOL, that's what that stands for. Laughing yourself to death. See,
Doesn't really line up with the letters, but I kind of get what you're getting at.
Otter.
Yeah, well, isn't that...
Laughing.
I interpret
Otter.
anything I want.
Isn't that LYTD? Laughing
that sounds
yourself to
like
death?
a disease.
Oh, he's got
A bad
LYTV.
case of LYTD.
Also sounds like that website, the
That-
YT.
Sounds like a radio station.
You know,
Welcome back to LYTD.
Or the or weird police force.
Yeah.
It's the LYTD.
Yeah, the Talise department. I could have just said department.
I like how it starts with L. I mean, you're like police department.
Well, I mean, that's the last two letters.
yeah, I get it. Yeah, you
You
got
see,
it.
right, it's because I'm not talented enough to think of all 4 letters.
That's all right, buddy. I'll let you pass on that one, except for when I called you out a moment ago about it. But other than that, you're passed. Asterisks. Bing.
Well, no,
Bartek
it'd
gets
be
a
2
pass.
asterisks. Asterisks.
It would be 3 at this point, wouldn't it?
Well, no, because you denied my 2-1 before.
Oh no!
You denied me once already.
No, I denied you once, but then I allowed the other one where it was like, "Good job, Bartek," for the art comment earlier. It was like in brackets, "Good job." So
Well, that was intelligence, yeah.
So that's the second one. So now we're up to the third. So get it up to date. But that's it. I'm removing that third one just because this was just so debatable.
That was such a long monologue.
It was almost as long as Henry's book, which still has like 20 more minutes. So, at talent shows, Bartek, since you're the host of them, to this day still, are they like this? Where there's tap dancing and kids rapping and burping?
Not so much a montage, but there's a lot of stuff happening.
So what's the best thing you've seen at a kids' talent show?
I mean, I only did the one time for like an hour.
So you say, but what was the best?
I
In your
remember there
opinion?
were a few Rubik's Cubes. There was a kid on a unicycle going around.
Well, hold on. Back up a sec. Were there kids using the Rubik's Cube, or was it just a bunch of
Just to
Rubik's
be-
Cubes on the stage and people were like, yeah,
Good job,
yeah?
Rubik's.
Because I love how he said there was a few
Yeah.
Rubik's Cubes.
Yeah.
Like,
Just to be clear, you're saying kids, but it was like high school.
those are children still,
Yeah,
right?
If they're underage.
Yeah,
I can't have sex with them, right?
Yeah,
Not
Children.
legally. I mean, it's
Wow.
possible for you.
I mean,
He's
yeah.
bringing in a lot of superability right
have-
now. He had a
Right,
Jufro
all he's-
comment,
all
now
he's-
he's like
right.
legally.
All he's saying is that you have great potential.
With great power comes great responsibility.
Comes
yeah.
power. You're not powerful. They're saying you have potential.
Well, if they're younger than me, I have more power.
With great power comes
Well,
great
yeah, but I'm
pedophilia,
talking
if you're
about
right.
just potential.
Yeah, potential for power.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm following in. Now all
Just
of this,
don't forget the word potential.
all of
That's
this
all
chucking
I'm saying.
in his boner in there, and
Oh
it's just awkward
my
as.
goodness.
Oliver, I didn't ask you this episode. Would you have sex with that baby? But you're
Didn't we talk about-
answering it very clearly.
Has there been a baby in this movie?
Didn't
at
we
all?
talk about putting things in your mouth earlier, Ryan?
He talked about it.
Well, I just mentioned the lollipop, I guess.
Yeah, Oliver's mentioning lots of things.
So, Oliver, this is the river that was going to carry him away.
Yeah, yeah. It doesn't.
Some might
seem
say
like,
it's a creek,
It doesn't actually seem like if you were to kill someone there that they would fall in. It still
especially
seems-
a big fat guy like Dean Norris.
Not even if the hills slope downwards towards it.
I don't
or-
even
or
know.
had eyes.
Well, it had a lot of rocks in it. I feel like he would get caught on the rocks. I feel like he wouldn't actually fall in.
Dude, when you grew up, did you not say to yourself, man, I want to watch a movie where Naomi Watts has a sniper rifle?
You know what? On a regular basis,
Every day of my life.
Does she also whistle?
this movie actually fully fulfills all my needs. in
I
that way.
watched Mulholland Drive and I said, not enough Naomi Watts sniper action, and then I shut it off.
So, did you watch it?
Well, yeah, but like off though.
Okay.
It was on, but I wasn't. I turned the TV off. It was still on.
Okay.
The closest you get is her and Tank Girl. I'm pretty sure she uses guns and that.
Say hello to Rape Dance.
It is the rape dance. It's good they hired her because she's one of the most prolific young dancers. I'm pretty sure she was on one of those TV shows like America's Got Talent or something, and now Sia uses her in every film clip and performance. She's Little Sia, which is great. Another Australian connection because Sia's an Australian musician. So that's kind of neat. So this film is like, hey, you like Australian connections? There you go.
And you know what? This film's set in the United States. Same planet as Australia.
And Malcolm Turnbull exists.
Unfortunately.
So,
God.
you know, if we take that this film is in our timeline, then Malcolm Turnbull exists, and he might have been Prime Minister. Probably not, but like, might have been. You know, who knows? I'm not up to date. I bet when I stop recording this episode, we got a new Prime Minister.
Unless the script from 20 years ago specifically said that in this world, Malcolm Turnbull can't be Prime Minister.
Yeah, like you were saying before, Bartek, that we should take a drink every time you cough, but it's Oliver who's been coughing the most in this episode.
I feel like I have.
Yeah, I
been.
feel like he's coughed a bit more.
The amount of times I've consciously
It's okay.
turned to my arm
I'm
and coughed.
observant, so I'm counting Oliver.
Well, yeah, potential.
How many have I done?
Oh, enough.
So
That's my favourite number.
Yeah, it's a potential of a number. All about potential on
I
this
feel like
show.
this. I feel like the way we've been going, there's going to be an old enough joke coming up, but
She's old enough to know how to rape dance.
Of course.
God damn it, Janice
Well, I feel like
is clapping
She's more
inside.
experienced enough.
Now, did you understand when God damn it, Janice walked away that she was going to do the right thing? Or
No.
did you just...
Did you think she was going to do the wrong thing?
I thought she was just moved by the dance. I didn't think she should actually.
Oh,
do
you didn't...
something.
Oh, okay.
So being moved is not the right thing.
When I watched it, I knew exactly what was happening. I was like, fuck yes! She's realized that this girl's been fucking molested, and now she's like, oh my god, the power of dance has made me realize my errors, and I must fix them. Only the magic of cinema and dance
I think
could bring that joy.
Our movie paused.
No. It's just Naomi Watts is just really intensely staring at everyone involved in the movie. It is, in fact, paused because the DVD is so high quality. I bought it last week.
Well, you bought it like 3 weeks ago, but that's still pretty recent. I did notice earlier when they were passing milk in front of the camera, it was like mosaicked.
I love art, so the movie doesn't want to play anymore. So let's talk about the final 5 minutes of the movie. They have a dance.
I love that lightsaber fight because we won't be able to confirm or deny that. So.
Oh, this is gonna suck when I said earlier that we'll have to wait for the subtitles of the phone call so I can get it more.
Oh, that, and you're like, wait till the dance happens, the magic trick happens.
Yeah.
I'll be waiting forever.
Ah.
So,
And this episode will never end,
in fact, it will never end.
which means it'll never be released.
Wow, that is sorry.
If you're
guys.
listening to this now, you are a paradox.
Look, I blame JB Hi-Fi, where I bought it.
Smelly urine guy.
Maybe there was a man huffing urine.
Huffing urine. What?
Well, he smelled real strong. Maybe he was
Yeah.
huffing it, man.
It
Don't
was really
judge.
strong.
Bartek was so subtle, though.
No.
Bartek was so subtle. We were at the JB Hi-Fi, and I saw him, and I was like, this guy's homeless.
Yeah.
And he's like in earshot, and Bartek's just like, what? Whoa, it smells in here. And then, and then the guy walked away, and Bartek like tapped me on the shoulder, like, there was that funny looking guy over there. I'm like, fucking hell, Bartek.
I didn't put it together until that point.
You're a real detective.
Subtle as a brick.
That's why I'm the observant one.
I mean,
Well,
in
clearly I was
comparison
too,
to
because
that-
I put it together.
In comparison to that,
But
anyone is.
more observant. You're the observant one at like 15 minutes too late. You're the kind of guy who's like, oh my god, they're getting murdered. Oh, whoops, too late. It's like, and I'll be like, man, I was trying to stop it already. I'm in the middle. So the DVD is just going
It's
frame by frame
royally
now.
fucked.
So,
Oh, we're missing frames.
so can I talk about the dance? I mean, the magic trick now?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay, so
Let's
the younger,
all talk about it.
So the younger brother promises to the entire crowd that he's going to resurrect his brother. Like
He's going to bring his brother back.
he's going to bring him back. Now,
And he's got a big chest.
I was sitting with my fiance, and she said, "Oh my god, is Henry going to come out of that chest?" Because he brings out a chest, and we didn't see a funeral scene. In the movie, we don't see the funeral scene that you usually have.
I wonder why.
So, because the movie's like wanting you to think maybe Henry's alive. And I thought, no way is he going to be alive. And then he started shooting out the snow. But I forgot about the snow being an important factor of their
and being an
relationship.
observant person.
Yes, but you know what I observed? Think about this for one moment, guys. You're sitting there in the audience. You don't have any context for the snow.
Yeah, obviously.
You're sitting there, you know that this brother's dead.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at the local talent show. Oh, this kid's talking about his brother. He's going to resurrect him. And he's just shooting grayish white powder all over you. And he's saying, I'm going to bring my brother to you. Is he shooting his ashes at me?
Oh my god.
Is he shooting the fucking brother? Is
Oh
he
my God.
spreading his ashes all over me? That would be
Wow.
my immediate thought.
That was his last
But they're
wish.
too big to be ashes, though.
Yeah, but that would be your immediate
They were
thought.
They were
was like,
fluff. It was like fluff, yeah.
it was dusty, fluffy. So you'd be like, oh my god, is he shooting ashes all over me? Oh, Jesus.
If you've never seen ashes before, maybe.
Yeah, do you lick them?
I mean, only on weekdays.
Have you seen ashes?
Ashes.
Yeah. Have you seen human ashes?
Yeah. Why?
Have you touched them?
No.
Have you had them sprayed on you?
You know what? These questions are getting too personal.
Otter?
Well, he said he hasn't touched them.
Yeah.
So how could I have them spread all over? me if I
Well,
haven't touched
Oliver could be pedantic by being like, I didn't stick my finger in it and touch it with my hands, but if it got sprayed on me, then I did touch it, but not technically I didn't touch it, it touched me. We're in Oliver Town.
I love that I didn't have to say any of that. And
But
you
we
just
all
went,
know, listening at home, that that's what Oliver would be like. That little snicker says he's right. I'm very observant, but that's what I had, like, oh my god, is he spreading the ashes all over
And
them?
because they thought it was ashes, they gave a standing ovation.
No, but then they realized it's not, so then they did.
I think I read a thing online that some of the interpretations of why they gave the standing ovation was, one, possibly relief that it wasn't more fucked up than it could have been.
Yeah, like it wasn't a dead body or something like
that-
that.
Like, holy shit, what does he mean by that? What does he mean by that? Oh, thank God, it's just paper.
I really thought it was, he's the final act. He's the final one. Finally.
Yeah.
Because I think that in my brain I interpreted it as the final act of it, because the mum schedules this 45-minute timeline to murder, and it's like, you wouldn't schedule him first. Schedule him last, so you have enough time to murder Glenn, get rid of the evidence, and come back, right? So, yeah. There's the rape dance, there's the resurrection of the brother, there's a lot going on in this movie, and it was all great. But then the movie ends with Glenn killing himself, and then them just getting the daughter, and she's Butterfly.
Butterfly.
And he's enchilada number one.
See, why does he need a number at that point?
Because
if he's
it's
the only
what
enchilada?
because in the early in the movie he's like, why can't I be enchilada number one? And they still haven't let go of Henry.
Yeah, but that's
because
not
in
relevant.
the
He's not there anymore. It
Oliver,
doesn't
there's
need
an
to
L
be.
word.
There's no
The L word.
lesbian.
No, but E is the second letter.
Let
No,
It's one of the first words in the film.
legacy.
Yes.
Ooh, take that, Oliver. Because also her
Take
book,
that, you got it right.
her book is very biblical as well, with like Henry,
Oh my
in
God.
her book being, yeah, I know, right? The film's still going frame by frame. Audience murmuring. No.
This is great.
Take a
So
screencap.
I'm glad that I bought this for like basically, $7.
Was it fine when you
$7.50.
watched it with Ray?
Yes.
Yeah?
Thanks, JB Hi-Fi. 5 stars. So this is how Colin wanted us to watch it for the episode.
Well, no wonder he's not doing Star Wars then.
Yeah, they fired him from Star Wars. This is what he wanted to do, man. He's an artist.
I'm glad he did this.
Imagine finally following your life's work. 20 years. A lot of time, a lot of effort put into this.
Yeah, that's the screenwriter. He was just like, I'm a director, man. Hand me script. I want money, and art. So there you go. So let's give our reviews and ratings due to the film being epic.
Mhm.
I'll start first because I'm talking a lot. Great film. Emotional film. A deconstruction of the genre. A complete subversion of expectations. It is a gut punch, both emotionally and in the thinking wise.
So it's a lot like you in that way.
I am a gut punch.
Oh.
That was me gut punching, and that was Oliver reacting.
Mm-hmm.
It's a weird sound effect.
Yeah, no, I don't know why he went, oh, like he was turned
I
on.
meant the punch.
I mean, you don't know what
It was a karate punch.
It's like when it hit him, it went whah.
No, I went, fwa, and it was so hard, it didn't even make a noise, because it made a noise internally in him. But we can't hear that. I mean, I can't hear your blood.
So anyway, your review.
5 stars. No, I thought good one, Bartek. Now you're catching up to Oliver. So I enjoyed this. I was completely dumbfounded in points, but in a good way. I like when a movie keeps you guessing. It was not formulaic. It was twists and turns and surprise elements. I thought the acting was very good, unique, different. There were certain actors in it. Naomi Watts is always a class act. She didn't really surprise me in this, but Dean Norris did. I thought he was very good. He brought something different to the character, because he usually plays a, cop character, and
And in this, he plays a cop. So.
Yeah, but he plays it differently. Like, he doesn't play it as a cop character necessarily. So it was a subversion of expectations. I think that this movie is polarizing. I do understand if you don't think it's an unappreciated masterpiece. This is one of the few where I give that little tick where I go, okay, if you don't think so, I'm understanding of that. But for us people, we do think it is. I think it is. I think I noticed the technicality of the script, direction, and everything else. I think it's a very superb film. Check it out if you can. Buy a copy from JB Hi-Fi if you must.
Only if you want the last, 5 minutes to be a bit shit.
To be a bit shit. So I give this film a rating, if I had to. I would give this...
That's a contradiction.
Yeah.
You do, but if you had to.
Do you want to go, do you? You want to go back to Oliver Town?
Hey.
All right, let's go back to Oliver Town.
I feel like the only one not at this town is you, Ryan. I think
I'm
you're
the fucking...
you're the
At
odd
this
one
point,
out.
I'm the fucking mayor.
Oliver, just keep talking. Gives Ryan more time to think of a rating.
I actually had mine, and now it's gone because you fucking came in Oliver Town.
Oh,
said-
wow.
you said
That's
a
never
bit
happened to me
ago.
before.
You said
If I had to
5
give this
stars.
film a rating, I give it an Oliver Town out of Oliver Town.
That's a good town.
That's 100%.
That's and then Coven and Otters.
Is that part of
That's
the
adorable.
score you give it, or the maximum that you get it out of?
That's a little citation next to my rating. You go
Okay.
like
a
down.
second rating, or what?
No, that's like my rating is Oliver Town, little asterisk there. Go down, Coven and Otters, and you have to
yeah.
interpret what that means.
That's a very fluffy rating, might I just say.
Wow, otters fluffy are they?
Yeah, a bit.
You're really
Kinda
into otters. He's a furry too. Great.
You wish I was.
Do I? Okay, Oliver's bringing in a lot of aspects to the show today.
And this is just
How do we
how
go
I
from
am.
that? Is that like, you wish I am? It's like, you're right, Oliver, I do. I've got so many animals that I just want you to meet. And,
Okay,
what does
that's-
that mean?
Gosh.
Okay, now Bartek's
that
bringing in a lot of information.
No, you're the
No, that was a
weird one.
hypothetical.
Hypothetical
was
reflecting
me.
some stuff.
It
Freud
was-
projection.
It was me interpreting Oliver's "you wish."
Yep.
Anyway,
A
back
lot
to
of
the
things
back,
are being brought onto the table
back-
this episode.
back to the review.
I feel like this. I feel like Patrick Warburton's character in B movie, where it's like, yeah, but soon the human race. You what? Like a lot of stuff's going on. Let's hear from Oliver.
I mean, after last week's episode, I'm sorry, this is the thing that's getting you.
Oh no, this is a continuation of last week. Furries came back on the table, and now we're here. So Oliver, what did you think of the film? Give us your rating and review, or review and rating. You can do it in any order. Hey, you can give your rating halfway through your review if you want.
You gave a couple of ratings, actually. You mentioned 5 stars, and then you kept talking. But that's okay, because you can give multiple ratings. So I give this movie both... Well, I mean, actually, let's just wait. So I did think about this movie quite a bit after I saw it in the brief time before we did the podcast, a few hours, and you kind of hit on all the main points that I wanted to address. You know, the acting, the direction, the art, especially the set design, I think was fantastic. I especially loved their little playhouse. I think I mentioned that before. I thought that was very well constructed. I think it was a very engaging film. I felt like I was very much invested in the characters. I think every character had their own quirk that allowed them to be justified in being in the movie. I didn't feel like anything was a bit too, let's just say, too out there. I feel like every character had their place.
Yeah.
I felt like,
It was a sensical film.
yeah, absolutely. I feel like it was a logical direction that still managed to subvert your expectations, as Ryan said, and still managed to give you a few twists and turns just when you thought it figured it out.
Exactly.
It still managed to surprise you, and I think I loved that about it. So I'm going to give this 15 otters out of 10 otters.
That's a lot of otters.
It is a lot of otters.
but he can fit him in there.
I mean,
So,
Deep pockets.
pockets.
yeah,
Otters have them.
they do. They have a
pouches,
pocket where they
whatever.
fit their favorite rock.
Do they have pouches in them?
Yeah.
No, I was just saying, like, if he's a furry, maybe he's a kangaroo.
And if they had a pouch, wouldn't that make them like marsupial?
No, no.
I don't think they do, man.
No, they do. It's a fun fact that they have a pouch that they carry around their favorite rock. That's a thing.
Oh, I thought they just carried them. But
Yeah.
let's hear from
They also
you.
hold hands while they sleep when they're.
Okay, we
floating.
know you watch a lot of their videos. So, Bartek, let's hear from the tech man.
Hello, I'm the tech man. Is that worth a clap?
No.
Okay, I tried. That was my trump card for this episode.
Wow, not your Turnbull card? Give me a clap for that one. That was pretty good.
Fuck
That was
off.
that was a decent one.
No,
that
I was
pretty decent.
trusting you not to go that direction, though.
But you shouldn't trust me.
Bartek,
I'm
would
in
you
Oliver Town now.
Bartek, would you like to give us your review?
I would. But I'd also like a clap, but I'll learn it later.
You will get the infection. That is correct. The clap.
You know, that thing.
Oh, you want that too, do you?
Yeah.
Tough.
Well,
Just not the clap.
I'm not demanding it, I'm just expecting it. So, we watched The Book of Henry.
Wait, we did? Is that...
I think so.
Did we just...
I think it was also called Povies Henriego, but
Yeah, that's what
Book of
the
Henry.
Yeah,
name was.
see, that's what I was-
yeah,
I was
yeah,
confused.
yeah,
My bad.
just to clarify.
Yeah.
This was a really good movie. It was a movie that had a lot of beats. You could almost call it a roller coaster. I say that because Ryan did call it a roller coaster before we started, and I thought we should just bring that out there.
Yeah, but
It's-
you said almost, so like I did, but you could almost call it that.
There was a potential there. That's a term that we used for Thunderpants back in 2015 when we did that episode, and we've related a lot of things in this episode back to Thunderpants, because the film about smart boy who dies and mum tries to get revenge for neighbor through shoot gun has a lot to do with boy who fart a lot, and dad leaves.
And excuse me, I could actually, if I bothered, I could actually relate those two movies really well.
Well, I know that there's potential there, but what I'm saying is
There is gun in movie.
yeah, but
He gets fired gun at.
well, I mean, he almost gets shot by a firing squad.
I'm pretty sure he kill man with fart.
Am I having a stroke?
Welcome to Oliver Town. If you stay here too long, we talk like this. So, gun?
What I was saying there is that was a very cheap and basic way to compare the two films, but there's potential there for greater comparisons. They're both unappreciated masterpieces, and this one is a very recent one, and I'm surprised not more people have seen it.
Yeah.
It is a really good film with really, really big actors in it. Naomi Watts, Jaden, who's... obviously, I'm not familiar with them as much as other people, but I've seen the YouTube comments, and these people are known.
Yeah.
This is a film that tries to get you hooked in many different ways, with many different stories. We emphasized earlier... We kind of didn't emphasize it later on, but we emphasized earlier that this is a film whose main conflict is in the background for a good chunk of it. And it is because it is focusing a lot more on emotions. We have a mother character who is reliant on her son, who can do a lot of things that she feels she cannot do. But as the film goes on, and even though she is still relying on him, she learns that she can be the reliable one to her son and new foster daughter. It is a film that teaches us about humanity, while also having, as you described, Ryan, a somewhat sociopathic initial main character.
Yeah.
It is a film that talks about the potential of life, even though there is a status quo in place at the beginning that you feel must remain. You can challenge it and new things can happen. I'm not going to give this film a rating per se, but I am going to tell you what this film is. This film is a shining gem in a smelly, piss-filled world.
Yeah, but if you had to give it a rating, though.
If I had to give it a rating, I'd probably give it a good one.
Good. So, YouTube and IMDb, I imagine,
Yeah.
had things to say.
What do they say, Ryan?
Well, they said, I watched this movie and it made me tear up and laugh. Ha ha. That's what YouTube said. Bartek took his computer back. He's like, how fucking dare you? I didn't mean for
No,
that.
I wasn't offended or anything.
You should have prepared for every contingency.
I just would have read it a bit differently.
You didn't. I'll read it like you would. Just for Oliver.
Yay.
I watched it this movie.
The fuck are you doing?
And it made me tear up and laugh. Haha. That's how we were talking before about fucking Thunderpants and all of that. Just like weird garbled noises and sentences.
That's pretty much.
That's
yeah.
Oliver Town talk for you when you're not being pedantic.
And you are the mayor, after all.
Well, you're the queen.
The queen?
You're the queef as well, if you want to be there.
You
So Bartek, give us some more with the patented Bartek delivery and flair.
Still mad he was a coward and killed himself. He should have gone to jail and been raped every day.
Wow.
Response. Thanks for spoilers. I'm not watching the movie because of an idiot just like you. Smiley face.
Wow, he got schooled.
And then the initial commenter responds with, lol, I kind of spoiled the scene. You should still watch it. It's good.
Oh. Well, so they changed their perspective. Very good.
I think that shows bravery and great potential.
It's all about growth, as we talked about before. You know, it's
And
not just
We get
intelligence.
it. We get it.
and
You
knowing
like
things.
growing.
And hopefully these YouTube comments are immortal and remain forever so that they can be a legacy.
I didn't realize this movie was on YouTube.
Everything's on YouTube.
Oh, these are from a trailer.
Oh, for a trailer.
You know you can buy movies on YouTube to watch.
You can, but this came out last year.
Yes.
Thought
You
it
know
was- I
you
thought
can
it was
buy
too recent.
I just bought a DVD of it. Like,
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
it works so well. So continue on.
The movie was so awful that the director got fired by Star Wars.
Star Wars was like,
Darth Vader came in with a coffee mug. He sat him down and was like, "Look, it's just not going to work out.
You are
Here's
the-
your severance package."
You are the director no more.
he's like, I have faith I can make a good movie, and he's like, no.
And there's Palpatine
No.
in the background, just
No.
like,
No longer director.
Do it.
Get out, do it.
"Get out." Have you heard about Darth Plagueis? He made a movie one time and we fired him as director as well. It's like, oh god, it's just on and on.
Peter the little brother plays August Pullman in Wonder.
That is true.
Response. He also plays other characters in movies because he's an actor.
Oh.
Fuck you.
Oh my god.
That was an Oliver comment there. That was right from the Oliver email address.
You know what? I love that because they're technically correct. So
They're
fuck
definitely correct, so...
You. So fuck you. Basically.
The next comment is, spoiler alert, don't press read more if you don't want it spoiled. So, and
You
when
did.
and when you click read more, Henry dies and so does Christina's stepdad.
Yep.
There were many responses to this that were freaking out about the fact that they clicked read more.
That's their fault.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is.
Is that all you got for us?
No, I've got two more comments and then the other thing.
He's dick.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. The next
Where was the clap
comment.
for that one? It was pretty good.
The next comment is, not to burst anyone's bubble, but I just watched the movie and it sucked.
Oh.
That taught me a lesson.
And the response is, no it don't, cause you all fucked up and don't have a heart.
I don't
See,
take
that was that
comments-
delivery I was trying to
Yeah.
emulate
Oh, right.
earlier.
I don't actually take comments seriously unless they're grammatically incorrect. That's how you know. That's how you know it's true emotion because
That's
they don't have time.
That's why you wear glasses.
You know what's
You want to focus in
Yeah.
better than normal people about the grammatic
Yeah.
incorrect.
And that's why I'm better.
Well,
than
you know what's interesting about this one is they spelled, you
You
know,
do know a lot about prejudice. Go on.
they spelled it cuz, like C-U-Z, and then you just you, but they have capital letter at the beginning, they have apostrophes or don't, so it's not
There you
too
go.
bad.
Oliver's getting schooled now.
They're
But
just
it's not perfect.
they're just stupid because they're wrong.
It's not.
Did you
perfect.
like that pedantic conversation? Welcome to the new podcast, Oliver Town, brought to you by Oliver, and Oliver.
I'll do this.
Also Bartek.
I'll do this out of spite.
And
buddy.
Oliver, I want you to interpret this next comment because
Okay.
I don't really get it.
All right, let's go.
Dat boy XD trailet XDDDDD noob.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Explain.
No.
Oh, that's typical Oliver repertoire.
And now we go away from YouTube to Burping by Ryan Slawinski. But
many-
he played it before I introduced it, so...
How many stars was it?
I mean, I was introducing it, so I wasn't paying as much attention.
Wow,
so
that's 10 stars then?
I mean, I'd have to watch it when I'm in the right mindset.
So watch it, okay?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Watching burps is far more interesting than listening to them or tasting them.
Indeed.
Go on, hit us with your best
wouldn't
shot.
Far away.
It is an IMDb review from IMDb.
Oh shit.
Whoa.
It is titled, Wait, did someone change the movie over?
No, they didn't. This is the movie.
It's from the 7th of January 2008, and the rating
Wait,
is...
2008?
Sorry, 18.
No, it's from 2008.
It's
They
a
are
time travel.
They were in
9
fact watching a
years.
different movie.
9 years
They're
before.
reviewing it. They
Oh.
reviewed it. Bartek actually went on to a different movie called Book of Henry on IMDb. He got us a review. Let's hear it.
Well, that's a joke. It's 2018. And the rating is 2 out of 10.
Thank you.
And just because you went on the tangent, I'll just remind you the title is, Wait, did someone change the movie over?
Did they?
Well, we'll find out. And this one begins with warning spoilers.
Ooh.
So be careful. Don't read more. And don't click it. I've been a whole lot of... I've already fucked up.
We're done. We're done.
Remember that delivery you all making fun of me for earlier? I think I nailed it. Like as it goes on, I'm
Well,
just
no, I
fucking
fucked up
nailing
a
it.
word. You was like doing Captain Kirk or whatever.
That
Yeah.
was you did that with your last YouTube comment.
What? Because I was struggling to read it. It's
Let-
Dat Boy XD Trailer XD.
Let's hear it again. Let's hear it again.
All right, I
A
said,
whole lot of love, yeah.
yeah, I said bean, but it's actually I've seen a whole lot of movies in my 26 years of living, and I can honestly say this movie's, like the plural, not possessive,
Yeah.
opening had me glued to my screen. I thought it was going to be one of those heartwarming family adventure sort of films, but somewhere down the line the movie just became stupid and unrealistic. It just happened out of nowhere. 1 minute it had my full attention, characters were strong and the plot was thick, but then the next it just suddenly went all downhill into a complete flop.
Wow.
Huh.
He mentioned that thickness though.
Oh, that thing.
We did mention the thickness.
Characters were being introduced that weren't needed, such as the Doctor. Why did we need to keep seeing him throughout the movie? Nothing developed from his character? It's a question, again.
You're gonna answer it or
Well, he's asking a lot of questions, like 7 in a row. There was nothing there. No intuition or that intimate charm between him and Naomi Watts. No character gained from the other. What was the point? I really don't know. Naomi Watts' character as the mother was definitely strong in the beginning, yes. She was rather childish and seemed very free, scatty and outgoing. Didn't care much for bills or paperwork as she relied on Henry for this, but that didn't stop the audience to see how unconditional her love was for her two boys. But like I say, the story worsens along the way. Full stop. Once Henry dies, I felt like she forgot about her other son. She was so focused on Henry's plan, the book and tape that he left her with. I sensed some real neglect. Yes, this was probably meant for the script as she was grieving and couldn't quite function the same, but I don't think it justified it. It made you as an audience really dislike her rather than feel sympathetic over her. It just didn't work. There wasn't enough sadness to see her pain. The most stupidest part? A single mother of two taking orders from a dead 11-year-old son? Seems pretty darn stupid to me. Yeah, Henry was like the parent that held the family of three together, but after his death, you'd have thought she'd get it together for her other son, but her actions are complete opposite. She just spirals out of control, obsessing over these notes and things to do that Henry has left for her. It takes her a while, in fact, the end of the movie, to realize that what she's doing is wrong and that she is the parent and that she can't be taking orders from a child. I don't want to give too much away with the storyline, but I hope whoever reads this understand where I'm coming from. The frustration of the movie by the end just makes you slump. You lose complete interest because it is so unrealistic, and if it were real, the situation would have been dealt with weeks or months in advance. Nobody acts like that, and if people do, others step in, not hide away from it. Disappointing movie, to say the least.
Oof.
Some points in there. I mean, I could spend an hour and a half pointing out the errors with their points, but they brought up points. That's something. You know, a tick for attendance. Anything else?
That's all, folks.
No positive from IMDb.
Wow.
Well, it was a really long review.
That's fair. No one wanted a 10 out of 10 for it.
Damn.
So
Well, the YouTube was almost completely
they loved
positive.
it. So you guys at home, thank you for listening to us talk about the Book of Henry. You obviously are a fan of it if you're listening. If not, you should have checked it out. It's pretty awesome. It has a lot of things in there. Oliver, great to be mayor of your town for this episode.
Please send the police. They've got me held hostage. I can't leave.
Yeah, the Queen, baby. Bartek, great to cough with you.
You didn't cough at all.
No, I'm very good. I'm very good at this.
Then how is it great?
To cough with you?
Yeah, when you didn't.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense at all, right? And I think you really should.
Well, if you're gonna Oliver Town
you
me,
really should have rethought that statement.
No.
It's nonsensical, and I think it undercuts your entire point.
thank you. That was Oliver Town, brought to you by Oliver and Co.
Oliver and Company?
Yay! You're my company.
You got it. You got it. You nailed that one. So, as always,
I haven't even seen the film.
you have been fantastic, amazing, wonderful listening people. If you are extra rad, give us a review on the iTunes. I imagine Oliver's already done that because he's a good boy. And yes, we are on all the stuff. We're on Spotify, YouTube, iTunes, Podbean, Google Play, some Spanish streaming site.
Yeah, that one.
We're in English on that site, but it is Spanish. We're on Facebook and Twitter. We've got an email, which we include in the description if you want to give us some feedback. Be like, look, guys, Oliver was completely wrong about this. Give us an email about it. I'd love to read it to him specifically. And, if you want to give me an email about Bartek's coughing and how you love it, great. Or, hey, how about we get some of that lovely... there's like other podcasts where they have fans that interact with them. We don't have those, but I'd love it if someone did some fan art of Bartek coughing his lung out. That would be great. And he's a furry as well, because
Furry beard.
you would be a bear or a dog.
Well, I'm a sausage.
You're a sausage too, but that's not a living animal.
I'd say
But
bear.
Have you seen the logo of our show?
Yeah.
Yeah, sausage.
You're a sausage. A little,
So are you.
we're a little polis. It could be anyone, that one.
I'm a sausage with, beard.
A beard.
So-
I got no feature.
You got a bow tie, don't you?
I got a bow tie. I don't wear bow ties. I wear normal ties.
Would you rather eat a sausage with a beard or a bow tie, Oliver?
Probably bow tie, actually.
No, which one would you like to gobby?
Well, I mean, that's a really philosophical question. I'm not sure we can really delve into the intricacies of the.
Until
the
next
body.
time. Until next time, remember to be kind to each other. Or, as Oliver Town would say, there is no such thing as kindness or you. Everything's a construction of the mind. And the mind is, in fact, not real. We are all, in fact, particles.
Yeah.
Or are we?
No, we are.